one, that was an absolute disaster.
Oh, he's far!
Oh no! That's massive for Adam!
All over the rear bumper of spin, mate. These guys are hitting each other like nothing we've ever seen before.
G pulls out to the outside. Here we go again.
AEDST, he's going to go for a move here. The two Ferraris in front of him. Oh, massive contact there.
This is going to be an incredible finish for these two.
The speed, the overspeed happening. They're going to go 3 wide into
Oh.
turn 1.
There's contact there from Tracy from Kung Fu on the way in. He tries to retwist and gets it. That's his way.
Shoved out wide. Oh, huge contact.
This is fantastic. On the outside though into turn 1.
As he chucks it down the inside anyway. What is this? Oh my gosh! What a move from GTR!
Good afternoon, good evening, Sector 1 sim racing fans from Australia, New Zealand and around the world. I am your host Atom. We are back and ladies and gentlemen, we did it. We are there. We are at now the end of Sector 1 Season 7. We're at Monza in Italy just like we were last week for Group A, and this is the last broadcast, the last night of racing for Sector 1 Season 7, and what a season it has been thus far. 12 rounds of racing action for you across 4 divisions here in Sector 1. We've already crowned at least 2 champions, or we've crowned 3 champions now after last week's race, and we've already crowned our Division 4 champion, but Division 2 still remains up in the air this evening, so there's lots to fight for these guys, and those podium spots on those in Division 4 are not looking any easier to get. I am joined in the comms box tonight by Graham. How are you doing, sir? Expecting good strategy combinations as well from these guys. Bit of changing around from last week. We saw the mediums and the softs both being mandatory, throwing a bit of a spanner in the works for these guys, forcing them into a 2-stop. I don't think we've seen a 1-stop yet, but I'm interested to see if we see someone try that this evening. The Supra is apparently being very, very strong around here, so advantage Team Toyota across the board. Let's have a look now at our standings for Division 4 before we get underway. The Revs Law leads the way, and Revs Law has taken the Division 4 championship with that margin over the top of VF, but Benny RX not letting go of that podium from VF down there just below him. There is 1 point separating those guys, so it's all on the line tonight. Renegade's still in with Shout as well with 262 there, well and truly in the mix, so that podium could chop and change quite a lot, but Revs Law, big congratulations. What a season he has had. And Whom Corp Esports has a driver with a championship title here in Division 4 for Sector 1 Season 7. What do you think of Revs' season thus far, right? Done very well this season. We are having some technical difficulties with our PlayStation audio, I think, not coming through. Let's have a quick look to see if there's anything we can do about that. But the upshot is, yes, we do have a winner in the form of Revs Law for Division 4 here, and looking forward to seeing what he can do in this round here. So we'll have a look at this technical difficulty we're having here, see if we can sort out what's going on here. Got some software that gets that sorted. Bear with us for a moment, please, folks. Unsure what has gone on here, but we will get it sorted as quickly as possible. Where art thou, grey? Very nice. No, I don't think we've got you just yet. We're just having a look. Let me see if that might be pulling the wrong bit of info here. 1 second. This auto device. By that, can you say something for me, Graham? No luck. I don't know what's going on here, but something has happened. We'll go to a quick intermission, ladies and gentlemen, while we try to get this sorted. But we will be back as soon as possible. Apologies for the delay.
Perfect.
There we go. Many apologies for the delay, ladies and gentlemen, but we are all sorted. Graham, would you please say hello to the crowd who have been missing your voice for the last couple of minutes?
G'day everyone, and I was having a great old chat to myself too, I can tell you. But yeah, just on that last question, if you can remember it, but no, really happy to see Rebs do what he did this season. Very consistent across 2 classes of vehicle, 12 tracks, and it's great to see him running that gold livery tonight, aka MotoGP championship style. So yeah, really good effort.
Yeah, excited to see that on the track this evening. Should be a good watch to see Revs Law with that gold livery. We saw, of course, last week a special livery for Jeesh as well, who took out the Div 1 championship before the final round came around for him. And he ran a livery with splashes of gold on it. They've gone a bit harder on Revs Law's one, as you guys will see very shortly. But in any case, we will move on to the race very shortly. But there is your championship table again. Revs Law at the top, VF Benia and ISA Renegade scrapping it out for P2 in the championship. Graham, if you were a betting man, who would you put your money on to get that second place in the championship?
I was just looking at that before. We've got 2 points between 2 and 4, 11 points between P2, P5, 3 manufacturers in there. Look, I put VF in there. He's very consistent and pretty quick around here. But Benia in the Toyota and those 2 Nissans chasing him, Renegade and a guy with no skills. Oh, it's a lottery.
It is a little bit of a lottery.
Yeah, look, Benny was driving really strong. Maybe Benny and PF, but yeah, those 2 Nissans are very strong. The Renegade and guy with no skills. So it'll be on. The other thing is, we've got quite a few in here that have been down a bit on their luck this season, but they have the outright pace in the car to really impact this podium tonight as well. So we can't discount that.
Yeah, it might not even be a case of who wins or who podiums tonight. It might be whoever finishes furthest from the bottom.
That's right.
Yeah. P5 might be enough to steal someone like Benia or Renegade that P2 spot over VF. So that should be very interesting.
Yeah, get a couple of the other guys really wanting to go out on a good result. The guys in that top 5 will have to be really careful and a bit of race strategy and keep it on the black stuff.
I'll expect some changes up and down the field in terms of where we sort of see people, because Monza as a track tends to be quite different to what we've dealt with so far this season. The track is very reliant on vehicle power and slipstream, so if someone's got their slipstream tactics nailed down, they might pull a massive result out of the bag for tonight's race. So here is your track map of Monza on your screen right now. So if you're not familiar with the Temple of Speed, as it is affectionately known, this track is something else. It's a track that is steeped in history in the city of Monza of Italy. So 11 corners, and I believe it's 4 braking zones. I think it's, no, 5 braking zones around the entire circuit. So power and straight line speed are huge at this track. We do have a couple of pit stops for the guys to make, so strategy there is going to become important as well. Softs and mediums both required as far as tyres are concerned, and fuel is a concern for these guys as well, so they'll have to be careful with that. We do have a 10-minute qualifying session for these guys, which I think will get underway very shortly.
Yep, I think the drivers are all ready to go. Just make sure we've got 12 starting. Dazza and Poppers are the guys out tonight, unfortunately. Okay, so I am ready to kick that off when you are.
Very good. We are all good to go as well. Yeah, a couple of absentees tonight, but in the grand scheme of things, not too many. We've still got 12 drivers on the grid, so definitely enough to entertain us all for the evening. So make sure you guys grab your snacks, grab your garlic bread, grab your chocolate if that's what you fancy, or if you're Lenosis, grab both and have them together. But here we are. We're heading off into qualifying now for these guys. Very exciting to see how Div 4 shakes down this evening for the final round of Season 7.
Yeah, looks like they're all out of the pits cleanly.
Very good.
No, still 2 in the pits.
I've got another slight technical issue that I'm dealing with now while you guys continue to look at the screen there. I'm just going to try sort this out quickly. Our game capture is having some slight problems.
Yep, we've got all 12 out of the pits cleanly into qualifying.
There we go. We are all sorted. So let me bring you guys over to our qualifying session. Here we go. 10 minutes of qualifying for our drivers this evening. Onto the track with our championship winner, and there is the gold livery of the man who has taken on the Division 4 of Sector 1 and come out swinging and come out on top for the season. Look at that gold, all that gold plating up and down the livery there, and the standard traditional Hoonkoop colours across the back. A very striking livery, possibly hoping to blind his competitors with the reflection of the sun. And it is quite sunny here in Monza today, so that could prove interesting across the course of things today.
Yeah, as we go through the qualifying field too, we've got multiple competitors running different liveries tonight for some very good causes as well.
Yeah, so a few special liveries on the grid tonight. Very exciting to see. Our livery lords doing their best work as per usual. So of course to start, that's the gold trim livery of Revs Law, the new champion of Division 4. And just below we've got Benia, closely followed by Keza. Now that's very interesting. See those guys so close on track in the early stages of the qualifying session. So Keza behind Benia now. Benia running a standard livery, and Keza running an 8-week to speed livery on the Brocchio 5 sim racing car. So a mental health campaign for these guys. Good to see them supporting something like that. We've got a guy with no skills in the standard Black Rose livery, looking classy as ever. Good Doc in his Blacklight Motorsport Ferrari with what appears to be a new livery, which I'm really liking, by the way. It slightly resembles the Holden liveries of back in the mid-2000s with the big lion on the back. Although I think they might actually be a panther, saber-toothed tiger. But it gives me the sort of same vibe, don't you think?
Yeah, well, Kaz is off. Good Doc and Guy with No Skills have picked up penalties on their first full lap, which will hurt.
The penalty central here at Monza. Good news is if you pick up a penalty, you usually serve it on the same lap. You can just ride off that lap and concentrate on the next, but it's still a massive issue for your qualifying session if you get one. Have a look back now. Malevolent One in the Deeds car and Debrev in the CP Motorsports car, both running their standard liveries for this round. There's your second Hooncorp car running the standard white, blue, red, and black. The form of Renegade, who is in that title, not title fight, but the podium fight for the championship. Laminated in the Lightning Motorsport car. VF in a stunning Movember car as Revs Law sets the first lap of the session, which is quickly outdone by Benia in the Supra. They're all coming in now to set their times. So that was a quick look at VF's Movember livery as he comes into the pits as well. Womble, he did have something on the roof, you said, didn't you, Graham?
Yeah, Womble, it's okay to talk.
Yeah, it's okay to talk campaign. I think we've seen him run that one.
Sorry,
before,
VF's Movember. VF is Movember around men's mental health and prostate cancer. Womble is it's okay to talk.
Right.
And I think with Snake Eyes, he's running the Black Dog course.
Snake Eyes. Oh, so Snake Eyes, we missed Snake Eyes because he got himself all the way up into P2 there in that Porsche. Very impressive, actually, in the Porsche, considering the onus on straight line performance here at Monza. The Porsche usually having been a handling car. Yeah, there you can see on the side there the Black Dog decals. So that was a mental health campaign as well, or a mental health organisation. Yep. Righto. So a lot of support for some great causes up and down the Sector 1 field this evening. That's great to see. Very impressive from the guys. And supporting things that they are passionate about is very important to us here in the Sector 1 community. So great to see.
Just to give you an idea where the times are tracking, Benny is 1:48.945. I think he's a touch quicker this lap. Div 3 qualifying was a 48.3. Just as a comparison. Yeah.
Close to
He's
it.
on the money. He's
Yeah.
on the money.
Now, do you remember who qualified at the top of Div 3?
I think it was Levenspiel from memory.
Levenspiel. So that would have been a Toyota Supra as well.
Toyota,
So, yeah,
that's right.
That Toyota, it's hard to compete with here. And we've got back down here Lucas, or the Good Doc, has jumped up into 4th place in the Ferrari. Really, really good to see. Because, again, another one of those cars that does not have a good reputation for straight line speed, but clearly the livery adding 10 extra horsepower as well as the ability to go off track regularly. He's picked up another half second there, so that'll put pain to this lap.
And actually he was really solid in the practice session and the practice starts, so I think we'll see Lucas at the pointy end tonight.
That Ferrari, as we know, excellent off the line, so he'll probably get 2 or 3 positions before turn 1, no matter where he starts. Now, what I want to watch out for here is Rev. Where is he? He's 7 at the moment in the McLaren. Now, the McLaren, not a bad car around here. And the CP Motorsports outfit had a couple of decent results last week. Off in the background, it goes not Revs Law, Renegade for Hooncorp. But yeah, I want to see what that McLaren can do in the hands of Debrev. We've seen some great qualifying sessions from him so far this season, and had a little bit of a hard time converting them into results on race. So I'd like to see what he can do here at Monza, although given his bad luck up and down the season so far, and the way Monza tends to go at turn 1, I'm sure we've all been there. That braking zone, lap 1, turn 1, Monza, someone goes bowling.
Reb's best 1:48.966. He's 0.4 behind Benny, so he's picked some time up.
Just within half a second, but I feel like Benny has got a little bit more to give, doesn't he? No, Benny has set a faster time. He's set a sub 0.5 there, so he's about a 10th off the pole lap time for Division 3 now.
3, yeah.
Wow. Very impressive driving from Benia, and he's putting one hand on that second position already. His nearest competitor, of course, was VF. It looks like that Mercedes is really struggling around here, although he hasn't set a representative time yet. Let's see if this first comes to the line. There's a 48, 49. It's going to be a 150.04. He gets up to 6th, so that puts him within spitting distance of the top 3 now. But Benia has a buffer of 4 cars between them. So that's going to make it hard for VF here.
Yeah, but like that Ferrari, that Merc just launches off the line like a cut cat, and he could pick up he could pick up 3 positions on the start if he gets a clean run to that T1, which is notorious.
The other one to watch is Renegade, of course, in that battle for the top 3 down in P7. But he, I think, was 2 points off Benia, if I remember correctly. So the gap's really small in the points, and it's genuinely down to who finishes ahead on track, who's going to get these podium spots for the championship. Renegade
Lucas
there.
is off.
Lucas is gone.
Ascari.
Yep, do some lawn mowing at the Ascari chicane. Let's keep an eye on Renegade here as he comes to the line to set his 4th lap. Hasn't cracked a 149 yet. Let's see if he can do it this time around. He doesn't need much to pull a couple of positions here. There's only half a tenth VF in front of him. Come through what used to be called the Parabolica. No improvement this time around. Gonna get one more go of it, I think. Just the one.
Yeah, the other thing I think we see at this race too is that the Supras are surprisingly good on fuel. I think in the Div 3 they were running 11 lap stints, which with the Merc, when you were pushing it, was 9 laps. Was pretty much all you'd get out of it.
If I remember correctly, I think Supra, if you push it to the limit, you're looking at just shy of 10 laps. So you save a little bit and you get yourself to 10. You save a lot and get to 11. We saw that on display from John Division 1 last week, but it didn't appear to be an optimal strategy. So it's unclear at this stage what the best way to go about things is around here, but I'd say you definitely want to pick up a tactical slipstream somewhere and save yourself fuel where possible, because even if you don't save enough, get yourself an extra lap over others, you're going to reduce your pit stop time if you have a little bit more on board. It's by a second or so. 5 litres is enough to save you a second, which can be life or death in a situation like this. So here we go for Ascari for Renegade now. He's just over a tenth up on his time, which is not going to be enough to get him up 1 position. He's going to need to find 2 tenths through Ascari and more through what used to be called the Parabolica. Do you actually remember the name of this final corner, Graham?
The track map I got is Curva Parabolica.
So it's been updated. They were calling it Turn Albert last week, I think. We'll have to see if anyone can get it in chat for us, the new name for the final turn at Monza. Here we go, across the line. He's gone 4.5 tenths quicker, and that is Renegade to 4th on the grid ahead of Snake Eyes in the Porsche. Lucas comes across the line, cannot improve. Revs has set his final lap, as has Benia, a tenth between them. Laminator's going to try challenge for that P2 if he can, and he's got the Mercedes in front of him as well. Snake Eyes goes to P5 there, not able to unseat Renegade. Here's the Lightning Motorsport car across the line.
Oh, great run by VF.
VF goes to P3. That is enormous. That is a clutch lap for VF, and a car that is not particularly strong around here. To put it on the 2nd row in that Mercedes. What a lap from VF. We missed it in its entirety. But
I've got a Merc in marketplace for sales, so that lap by VS just increased its value if anyone's interested.
Say it, resale value. That's what we like.
Well, it was either that or burn it. I had no offers after a week, so.
Mercedes don't apparently hold their value in the case. Here we go, round 12, Monza qualifying results. Benia takes pole position with a 48.496, putting him about a tenth and a half away from the Division 3 pole time, so showing that he could be competitive in the next division up. Revs Law, P2 there in the GDR, the highest qualifying GDR so far in round 12 here at Monza, managing to take the fight to the Toyotas. And VF, with a lap of ungodly proportions in the Mercedes AMG GT3, goes 48.741, but 2.5 tenths off Benia in the Toyota Supra. What a lap by VF that was.
Yeah, really good, and with that Mercedes starter, really holding well into T1.
Very true. That GDR is not too bad off the line as well, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see Benia slip down P3 off the line here for turn 1. So he's going to have to be very careful how he approaches that first corner. It might even be easier for him if both the cars behind him just clear him. And then he can kind of deal with things from there. But see what his strategy is from here. Don't forget, of course, that we do have 2 tyre compounds available, and with both of them being mandatory, we will probably see a couple of guys starting on the alternate tyre. So the softs and the mediums available. Mediums will hinder the guys off the line, and of course, for the entirety of their against the guys on the softs. The rest of the qualifying grid, Laminator makes up that second row. Renegade P5 also in the fight for the last 2 steps on the podium for the championship. Snake Eyes in P6 there in the 911 RSR. A couple of good lap times thrown down there. Good Doc in P7 on his return to Sector 1. A guy with no skills in P8. Actually a really low qualifying position for a guy with no skills. Very rare for him to see him outside of the top 5. He'll be disappointed with that. Move on to P9 Debrev 650S for CP Motorsports ahead of Womble, Heza, and Malevolent One making up that 12-man grid here. So good to see a little bit of chopping and changing up and down for these guys. Different results to what we're usually seeing, and nice to see Good Doc mixing it in with these guys once again, getting back involved in the fray. So I think with all that said and done, we're ready now to get the race underway.
All right, I'll get the guys moving now. 8 seconds.
Looking forward to this one. Monza, round 12 here, Sector 1 Sim Racing, Division 4, the second to last race of the division of the Season 7 calendar. It's going to be a good night, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a good night. Here we go. Down to Division 4. We're on the grid, waiting for the lights to go green. Benia on the front of the grid. GDR and the AMG Mercedes behind him. The lights are on, the revs are up, the lights are out, and the drivers go racing for the final time here at Sector 1 for Season 12. A great start for revs there. Down to turn 1 we go. The Mercedes not able to get the jump there. Lucas is on the grass in the Ferrari. He's got the inside line on a couple of cars there. Renegade forced to the outside. Revs goes flying through the first chicane. It's great from these guys back here. No one off the track so far. Looking good. The Black Rose car struggling through there. Womble just back there losing a position to the Porsche of ISA Esports' Snake Eyes. These guys are still going at it. Revs Law now out the front ahead of Benia, but Benia has actually lost less positions off the start than we expected from him, so that's a great start from him in all honesty. Now what I'll be interested to know very shortly is what tyres these guys are on, because there might be some people who are on the back foot because of that tyre selection. But here we go through the Lesnos for the first time. That's the Movember livery on VF's Mercedes. Now he'll have Benia in his sights here for that second place in the championship. Needs it. The CP Motorsports McLaren back there picking up a whole lot of AstroTurf on the outside of the second Lesnos exit. Flying through under the Brembo sign to the Ascari chicane.
Just trying to work out. Maybe we've dropped one. I'm only seeing 11 on my screen. What
Did we
yours look like,
lose
Adam?
Malevolent One?
Yep, it looks like he's dropped out. There's nothing in the comms.
Okay, well, I'll let you deal with if we need to bring a flag out or anything like that. We'll continue on with the action for now. Looks like it's getting spicy up the top. We've got Revs leading the way. He's pulled a bit of a gap here, so I'd be backing that he's on soft tyres most likely. There's the Good Doc in the Ferrari under immense pressure from Laminator here. In the Supra to the inside he goes down towards the first chicane and chops across him, does Good Doc. That corner's mine, he says, and through he goes. Manages to hold on to the position in that Ferrari despite his straight line speed disadvantage. Down below, a guy with no skills hanging on for dear life in that GDR. McLaren looking behind. There's Laminator going for it again up the inside. On the way to the Redifilio chicane. No, that's not the Redifilio. I think the second one's actually called something else. But he goes through. That is a position made for Laminator up to P5 now. after the start here on lap 2. Renegade with a half-second penalty. That's going to really hurt his chances. He's got the better of VF though, so that might be okay for him at this point, but he's got to set his sights on Benia there. Benia now sitting in position to get that second spot in the championship. Have a look here. Benia 1.5 seconds behind Reb's Law. He's got to find something here if he wants to challenge the champion of the division now. Of course, is Reb's Law. Have a look again at that gold livery on that car up the front. With another dominating display so far. Renegade going through on VF.
Through to third on the penalty, yeah.
Of course, served the penalty. There goes that half second for Renegade then. And VF retakes third position. Now, if you're VF or you're Renegade, at this point, do you have to start thinking about working together to try and catch Benia? Because realistically, either one of you can profit from that. But if you fight each other, neither one of you will. So, the question is now, up the inside goes Renegade. Now, is that the right decision? Has he made up time there, or has he just held himself up by fighting against the Mercedes of F?
Yeah.
I think he's doing it right. His pace looks good.
That was just pure straight line speed down the main straight.
Mercedes really lacking the legs here at Monza. Though he looks like he might be close enough for a sniff here at the second chicane. Renegade on a great lap so far. There is
Laminator's on a charge here.
Laminator is looking racy here. He's getting very close. See Good Doc in the background there. He's not letting the Black Rose car out of his sight so far. We can go on board with Good Doc and look what the second Lesno looks like on board with a Ferrari. Dr. Brev hot on his heels here as well.
Yeah, there's definitely nothing in the comms about Malevolent ones, so it sounds like it was a total failure with his tech.
It's one of those things. These things happen, of course, in real life, and we get the same sort of issues in sim racing of our very own kind. Very loose for Ascari there. You see that for Good Doc getting sideways as all hell in that Ferrari. It's a very loose car.
And Laminator, a big dive into the final turn.
There we go. Up the inside of VF. So VF slipping backwards now. Not a good position for him to be in. Let's see if Laminator can get past Renegade as well. Oh, lap there for Renegade as well. 48.804. Looking good so far. Will he go for a move into the first chicane? Thinks about it. Renegade goes deep on the brakes. Makes the corner, no problem though. Nothing doing for Laminator that time around, but I think with the pace difference he's got going on right now, probably going to have another crack at it before you know it. Benia still hovering about 1.5 seconds behind Revs. Another faultless drive so far for the HomeCorp Esports Division 4 champion. He is now, of course, in division in P1 here. Kevin Lesmo not going to be able to relax just yet because Benia wants to have a conversation about this. That's super
Laminator, fair chance going into Ascari here.
Going to go for it down the inside of Renegade. Not a very popular place for making a move at Ascari. He backs out of it early. Renegade, he's going to fight this position with everything he's got. Might come as a to the sacrifice of that P2 in the championship here. Looks like that Supra is going to go through now around the outside of the GDR at what used to be called the Parabolica. We're just going to have to call it what used to be called the Parabolica at this point.
The old name.
I'd rather call it. It's like when they renamed No Name at Spa to Jackie X Corner. Even Jackie X said no thanks. And they ended up just changing it back to No Name.
Yeah.
And this is a close battle here. VF under pressure still from the guy with no skills, but no moves being made this time around.
Yep, P3 through to P6, very tight battle, and we've got the same from P7 to P10, P11.
A couple of slipstream trains on track at this point, so this is the part where we've got to start thinking about who's got their strategy figured out, who's going to be saving fuel here. In fact, we're nearly halfway through a stint. It might be time for our tyre and fuel update.
No worries. So we'll run through that. And very interesting strategy here too. This track's so fast that the guys that run the second stint on mediums with low fuel picked up a lot of time, track time, to the guys that run the mediums for the first 7 laps. So don't ask me how I know, but that's what happened. So we'll go through it. But so we've got 3 starters on mediums, but up front, Revs is on racing softs, and he's right on half a tank. Benia racing softs, just a touch more than half a tank. And the racing softs, there's hardly any wear on those Supra front tyres. Left-hand side, 5% front, 6% wear on the rear, and hardly any on the right-hand side. Benia's tyres are identical, and as I said, just a little bit over half. Laminator, 3% on both fronts and 6% on left rear, but the right-hand side's pretty good. And he's right on half a tank, so very even there. VF has the best fuel so far, a little bit over half, maybe 55%, and really good tyre wear in line with the 2 leaders. And he's just been passed by Renegade into the T1. I'll get Renegade then. So yeah, racing softs in the Nissan, really good on the front, hardly any wear either side, 6-7% left rear, and just a touch over half on the fuel. So very even fuel performance across these cars at the moment. Guy with no skills, he's also on softs, and again, identical tyres. If anything, a little bit better on every corner. He's running in the Nissan. Debrev in the McLaren. And he's on mediums, yeah, and he's just been passed by Snake Eyes. Debrev's the first of the runners on mediums. Right on half a tank of fuel, very little wear on the mediums, which you'd expect after 5.5 laps. Snake Eyes on racing softs, very little wear on the front and right rear, and about 7% on the left rear, and he's sitting at about 45% fuel. Good Doc, right on half a tank, and that Fezzer is really good on its tyres. 3% left rear, the others are in very good shape. He's also on mediums. And Womble is the third medium runner, 47 odd percent fuel, and as spec'd on the mediums and the Supra, very little wear. And Keza on softs, 48% fuel, and that Subaru is also really good on its tyres in line with the Ferrari. So that's the rundown.
Very good. So, important information to take away from that, and you're seeing it coming to fruition now. Womble into the pits ahead of Keza. So first of our medium runners blinks now into lap 6. So the other medium runners, of course, Debrev and was it Good Doc?
Good Doc. They're running the mediums.
Doc on the mediums. So those guys yet to pit, which is interesting. I
lap
think
6 might have been a lap. Well, if I was in the Merc, it would have been a lap early because it would have made the fuel run hard.
Supra's a little bit different. Supra, you can get 10 laps fairly comfortably if you're doing a little bit of short shifting. So I think Womble backs himself here. Fair enough. I think Debrev might have just picked up a half-second penalty. Let's see if that comes with an invoice. The big jump of the cane sausage there, but look like anything in there. The fight at the top is getting very spicy now. Benia is within spitting distance of Rev's Law.
Yeah, Benia wants P2 with a win. What a great way to round this championship out.
Would. I don't think that would be Benia's first win in Division 4, but if I'm wrong. Don't think we've seen him get a win in Sector 1 yet.
I don't recall it, no.
Right, so that would be huge for him. check in with our resident statisticians in the Discord and see if they can update us on that. But he might be shooting for his first win here, Benia, here at Monza. Not going to be close enough to go for that P1 this time around. Got to think of Laminator as well. Laminator 5 seconds back. He's not looking too slow here, that's for sure.
And a bit of a gap drifting out. There's 4.6 between P2, P3 and 3.3 between P3, P4. So it's just started to drift apart.
Guys are settling into their rhythms, finding their speed around Monza here. And pit stops obviously starting to take place as well. So Womble, the first to blink, finds himself at the back, 8 seconds behind Keza, who I think has probably had an incident at some point. Put him 20 seconds off the back of Good Doc. Good Doc and Debreb, of course, the medium runners, running together at the moment on track. I wonder if these guys are going for the one stop, because 8th lap, you're approaching halfway at this point. 13 laps is past halfway. So at what point do you start thinking about that one stop? The question is less about tyres and more about fuel. This one stop. Only going to get 10 laps on fuel. Even if your tyres will go further, you simply can't go further, because that car needs to refill. So what happens here? How do these guys make the car last to halfway?
We did do some testing on a one stop, and if you get perfect laps, it was about 7 or 8 seconds off the winning pace in a test race. But to get 13 laps out, your lap times are 53s, where these guys here at the moment are doing high 48s. Well, actually, Laminator is. Yeah.
Good Doc's times. Oh, there we go. So in goes Debreb. Good Doc goes around again. So I think we can assume based on that Debreb is going to do 2 stops here.
Yep. And he's on medium, so he'll come out and do 2 9-lap stints on softs.
Is that right? Is that... So we've got...
hang on. Sorry, end of
17
lap.
laps to go, so he'll do a...
End of lap, an 8 and a 9.
Fine. Interesting. I think he'd back himself to do 2 stints of equal length, right? Wonder what the thought process is behind that strategy. But I'll be interested to see what Good Dog does from here, because I know that the Ferrari, if driven correctly, can do wonders with the fuel. So it's possible that he could be shooting for that run to halfway. But what's more interesting is the Ferrari is so harsh on its rear tyres. On the softs, he might actually kill those rears before he gets to the point where the fuel starts running out.
Yeah, I think we'll definitely see. We'll see Revs come in and Snake Eyes this lap. They are pretty low on fuel. I don't think they'll squeeze another lap out.
Revs has managed to eke that gap out in front to 1.2 again. Benian not being able to quite hang in touch. See what Revs does here. That gold livery round to the start-finish line. Into the pits he comes. Early doors. Benia's going to get an extra lap on the soft tyres here. So, now we're seeing the diversion and strategy. And it looks like Laminator's gone for another as well. So clearly, Benia with a fuel surplus on Rev's Law could make a difference. Renegade in with 17 litres left, so that just shows the lack of thought paid to fuel saving by Revs. It was about 10 litres down on his teammate. VF on 19 there, so he saved a fair bit as well. They start refueling now. But interesting that VF and Renegade possibly could have gone for one more lap, but elected not to. So Benny is going to get, assuming he runs 10 laps back to back. So if he's run 10 laps now on these softs, assuming that is a correct distance for the stint, he can do that again. So if he does another 10 lap stint, that means that if the others do an identical stint to the first, he's going to get an extra 2 laps on the soft tyre, which is worth about 2 seconds over the entire race distance. So that is a good advantage to have in his back pocket.
Yep, and running those 5 laps in medium on a light fuel load in the middle.
Very true, yep. Less time spent on the medium tyre, so that's that time deficit as well. And his refuel time will be shorter too, because he paid more fuel. even though he's going to come in with possibly less in the tank than Revs did on the last lap, because he's staggered it the way he has, going to net a gain from that fuel difference. What's interesting to me now is Laminator's actually pulled the gap down a little bit, probably by about a second to Benier here, so he's running good laps now as well. I want to know if these guys are going to be in the lap. I presume they
definitely.
will.
Yep, definitely.
You'll light on for both of them. Flashing red. Please pit this lap. Please pit this lap. Guy with no skills.
Yeah, he'll be in as well.
Only GDR to go around for a 10th lap. That's it, and he comes. Good doc on the mediums. So we're now at in the lap 10 for Good doc. Now this is where it's starting to look a little bit make or break, right? Because
He can easily run another lap.
3 more laps and he's halfway. He's past halfway.
Yeah.
He runs 3 more laps from here. It comes in at the end of lap 13. He will be able to make it on the second stint because we'll only have to run 12 laps from there. Here comes Revs Law on the way through. He's going to come out behind the Laminator. Now that tells me that Laminator's put the medium tyres on because he's come out ahead of Benier. And he was behind him, so he's fueled less. He's fueled for a medium stint. Benier's fueled for another 10.
Yeah. All the front runners are out on the medium.
Having said all that,
sorry.
Benier's now 5 seconds behind Laminator, which puts him just over 5 seconds, nearly 6 seconds behind Revs, whereas he was 1.2 behind the Revs pitted. Now, what happened?
Benier is running out of sequence from a tyre perspective with the others.
So Revs has gone onto the mediums as well.
Yep, Revs has. Benier has gone softs again, so he'll run his mediums in the last stint.
So the second and third runners, Revs and Laminator, have elected to take their medicine in the mid stages of the race, so put that harder compound tyre on the slower tyre and run that for the middle period of the race, about 5 laps or so. I imagine Revs is going to run them for 6 or 7 and come in at the end of either lap 15 or 16. Whereas Benier is going to go for 10 laps straight now.
And he took fuel on for 10 laps, where the others short fuel just for their medium stint.
Well, he's come out so far behind these guys because he stayed in the pit for a bit longer and put that extra bit of fuel in. So here we go. Good doc in after 11 laps. Now that's put him in a really tough spot because he's not gonna make it to the end. He'd have to do 14 laps to get to the end. And I don't think, based on the fact that he only got 11 that time, I don't think it's going to be possible. So he's now going to have to run the softs, 2 stints of about, what's that, 7 laps each? Which is an interesting number to say the least, because most people are running their softs for 9 or 10.
Yep, and Guy with No Skills is on a same strategy as Benier. He's running back-to-back soft stints, so he's dropped down a little bit with that extra fuel load. So if he can string together some good laps on the softs, there's a chance he could jump a spot.
If we look at it from, because obviously there's a very popular phrase in the Sector 1 community of taking your medicine, which is kind of attributed to putting on the slower tyre or having a fuel stop in a race and spending a whole lot of time in the pits that puts you on the back foot once you come out, but leaves you in a better position later on. Now, we were talking about the medium tyre as being sort of the medicine in our metaphor there, the medicine tyre, but guys who have put the medium tyre on have actually come out ahead of the soft runners. So, whilst they're taking their medicine in tyre form, guys who went onto the soft tyres have taken their medicine in fuel form. So, it's kind of swings and roundabout at this point. As we watch Benier, so he's now behind on track, these guys out front of him, so he's going to drive up towards them as he goes along. But hopefully for him, they'll pit in and go do their big fuel stop and come out way behind him so that he's got a buffer for when he boxes for his.
Yeah, if Benier and Guy with No Skills can put in some really good consistent laps on these softs, that could be enough. nice consistent 9 laps as these guys are running around on mediums. So yeah, it'll be close.
Have to check in on lap time next time around. Have a look at Renegade there going through on VF on the way out of first chicane. Great move from Renegade. We weren't paying too much attention to it, but he got the move done and through into P4 now. So Rebs and Laminator on the medium, as are Renegade and VF. Guy with no skills is on a soft tyre, and Womble for that Renegade, very deep to the second chicane, checks up VF there on the way out to first Lesmo. Settle back into the position. So we were saying Womble now on the soft tyre, obviously having taken that medium tyre first off. So he's in a good position to finish this race nice and strong. Down to Ascari now with VF on the back of Renegade at this point in the race. So if you're VF in this situation, do you latch on for a tow and save as much fuel as you possibly can? Or do you want to battle for that position? Because Renegade, of course, is in that fight for those top 3 spots. And right now, based on where the drivers are sitting at the moment, Benier would take second place in the championship over VF, who currently holds that. And VF would drop down below both Benier and Renegade at this point because they're outscoring him on points. Unless he can go for a fastest lap, but it looks like he's going to go for an overtake instead. No. Now, that's one of the first cases of bump drafting I've seen this season in Sector 1. And he's going to lift off here. He's not gone for the move at all. He just lets Renegade have it. There you go. There you go. Now, interesting strategy from VF. So he's thinking of the long game here. He's thinking if we can get as close to Benier as possible, we'll put ourselves both in with a fighting chance of that second place. Because right now, if they fight, they lose their chances together of getting that second place. So a smart move from VF. We'll see if it pays dividends for him. But I think Benier's in a good spot as it sits. But it doesn't look like they're falling off him too much. Renegade is making lots of mistakes here.
A lot of short shifting happening by VF.
Yeah, he's in fuel conserve mode right now. He's using that slipstream to full advantage here, taking the most of it. Looks like he might have had enough now. There's a lot of mistakes from Renegade, might be slowing him down. See what he can do at Ascari.
Yeah, they've both got to be careful. Guy with no skills running on softs. He's pulled 1.5 seconds on them in the last couple of laps.
Way they're battling at the moment, I'm not entirely surprised by that. Have a look on board again with VF, see what he does on the main straight this time around. Curve Parabolica, as it used to be known. Onto the main straight, now the slipstream. Prove effective here for VF now. Fuel save, there you go, that sounded like a short shift to me. Looking to save fuel on the main straight. Will he lift off, pulls out of the slipstream.
Yeah.
Hear that?
Just a little bit wide to, just to get the line into the corner, and then he's off. Yep.
He lifted off the throttle at about the 200 metre board, not braking until 150, so big coast there for VF, so he's definitely thinking about his fuel numbers. So based on that, if he saves himself a good few litres of fuel, he doesn't even need to overtake Renegade on track. He'll just jump in and stop. So definitely playing the long game right now is VF.
Yeah, I'm just trying to work out with Snake Eyes. It looks like when he switched to mediums, he's taken on a bit more fuel than his counterparts. So whether that's to do a longer run or he's just over-fueled a touch, but that'll come back when he goes to softs and takes on less fuel. So I'd expect to see him up in front of Womble.
Yeah, the extra fuel from that stop, while it may have slowed him down a little bit during the stop, it'll speed up his second stop. So he'll actually not be stationary on the stops.
Yeah.
So
sometimes you can do that to get yourself out of a conga line and get clean air.
Exactly, yeah. So if you're only required to fill to about 50%, as most of these guys are for their medium, then if you fill to 75, suddenly you're out of sequence with everyone. You actually end up with your own little bit of racetrack. So that might be what he was thinking. He's not looking too bad
got
right
past. So BF's through.
now.
Through that old corner.
P4. No. Now, I don't think Renegade's going to take that line down. Looks like he's got more toe than a Roman sandal on the main straight here. Head down. Will he go for the move? No, he goes for the bump draft this time. So now the shoe is on the other foot, and these two guys are working together, it seems, to try catch up. So let's see how the dynamic changes now for these guys, because of course we saw before Renegade was making mistake after mistake after mistake, little wiggles out of corners and going a little bit deep in braking zones and things like that. Now VF is a model of consistency. He does not make errors, not nearly as much as what we've been witnessing. And so with this new dynamic of Renegade following VF, these guys might chomp a whole lot of time out of the guys in front of them, because it's clear that Renegade has the raw pace, and he just keeps making mistakes that were holding two of them back. But now that he's got that benefit of the slipstream, when he makes mistakes, he will catch right back up to VF, and VF will be able to consistently plug those laps with the benefit of getting a bump draft on every other straight as well.
And that strategy of running mediums on light fuel for 6 or 7 laps, when you compared to Benier on the softs, he's not getting away from them. If anything, that gap's come down by a couple of seconds.
So we look at Benier, he is closing up to Laminator very quickly. He's pulled 5 seconds on him in the last 4 or so laps, I think. And it looks like he's going to be close enough
Laminator
to
will be in
very shortly. Oh, there
He'll
we
be
go.
in the pits.
In the lap 16 for those guys. So they're going to do 9 laps on their final step. And Benny going to run to the end of lap 20 on these softs. So don't forget, although that they pitted in front of Benier, they are going to be filling up a lot more than he will have to when he comes in for his next stop here.
Yeah,
So
these guys will need to go to the full tank.
they'll need about, I think they'll need about 80%, 90% fuel, and Benny is only going to have to put in about 50% when he comes in at the end of lap 20. So it's almost like what we saw last week in Division 1. I remember John was running 11 laps a soft stint, while everyone else was running 9 or 10. And that gave him an extra lap on softs. It did not work out for him last week, but it looks like Benny has put himself in the best position he can to make it work this week. That extra lap on softs is going to help him more than we're currently seeing on track. It's not visible to us just yet, but his closest competitor, Reb's Law, now P6 with a 33-second gap to overcome to him.
Yeah,
That's going to take
and
some
the guys in front of Rebs, Good Doc, Andy, Brev, they're on at the last 3 laps or so of their soft stint.
and they might hold him up, might they?
Yeah, they're sitting on just over a quarter of a tank of fuel, and yeah, both on softs, but their tyres are in good nick. So
let's do some quick calculations. I know you're not supposed to do maths when you're commentating, but I want to have a
I
look
can't.
at this and see if we can see if we can work out what's going to happen here. So if you look at Benier's lap times on the right hand side of your screen, he's in the 49s, the mid 49s, sometimes the low 49s, he's even got a 48. Right, so let's call his lap times low 49s. If we head back to Reb's Law, he hasn't got any representative lap times because he's just started his stint, but he is directly behind Debrev and Good Doc, and their lap times recently have been in the 1 minute 50. So if they continue that pace and Rebs does not go by them, he's going to be stuck on that pace as well. That is going to affect his battle with Benier. So there we go. Debrev into the pits. That's going to help Reb's Law a lot. He really needed that. Now he's got Good Doc in front of him. Good Doc has been running 1 minute 50 laps as well. Reb's just got a bit of a gap to drive into to get to him, so he might not be affected this lap. If he gets past him fast enough, he might be able to overcome that deficit. But it's very possible that this driver in front of him is going to affect his battle with Benier directly. Laminator still in this fight as well. He's 3.5 seconds behind Revs Law, and again, with that little delay that Revs might experience behind Good Dog, Laminator might be able to take advantage. 3.5 seconds is not a massive gap. It's definitely not a buffer that Revs will be comfortable with here, and Laminator has been displaying some excellent pace so far this evening. I think he's going to be a big part of this fight as we continue on. BF is the other one we want to think about. He's picked up a half-second penalty as well. He's still got Renegade behind him. So these guys are still running their strategy here of cat mouse with BF in front, mistake-free apart from that penalty. I guess I'm eating my words now. I did say that he was a... Oh! We've lost Renegade there. Renegade has had an error, and he's gone off track at the second Lesmo. Have a look at that on a replay. Here we go, into the second Lesmo, in the toe of VF, and too much speed onto the AstroTurf. The traction control kicks in and just about saves him from contact with the wall, but he lost a lot of time there.
Yeah, and VF picked a penalty up through there, but he's just served that.
Half second. Renegade would have got that spot if he hadn't made that error. Good Dot comes in off his softs. He's going to do a 7-lap stint once again. Revs Law in P3. But he didn't get past Good Dot, I don't think, before he hits this time around. So the gap to Benia has remained about the same as when Revs came out of the pits. So it's now 34 seconds. Very hard to overcome, I think. Guy with no skills, still owing a one last pit stop. He'll pit on the same lap as Benia. So these guys are going to go to the end of lap 20. So one more lap after they complete this one. It'll be interesting. Strategies are all going to come together after this this next time in. One more pit stop to go for some of these guys, while the remainder have completed all of theirs. So let's update you on where the drivers sit at the moment. Benia leads the way. He owes a stop. He needs to run the medium compound of tyre yet. He'll run that for the last 5 laps of the race. A guy with no skills is in the same boat, or a different boat if you count the R35 GTR as a boat of its own kind. Revs Law has completed all of his pit stops. He's on the soft tyres to the end, and he is in pursuit of Benia, who he was about 4 seconds ahead of when he boxed for the last time. Laminator in P4 is trying to chase down Revs Law. He's pulled out a bit of time on him, about a second in the last lap period, to try and get that down. He's definitely in the fight with Benia as well here in the last stages of this race. BF does not owe any more pit stops. He's on the soft tyres to the end, and he'll be running until the end of lap 25 on the current set that he's on. Renegade's in the same position as VF as well. He's dropped off him a little bit. They were working together for a while, but a error from Renegade has dropped him off the back a little bit. Womble's completed all of his pit stops after running the medium tyres in the beginning, as well as the Brev here. And these guys are all right on top of each other. So this is what we're talking about. When the strategies all come together and everyone completes their final pit stops, all of a sudden, these guys are together on track. So, looking through this battle pack, Womble on softs, the Brev on softs, the Good Doc on softs, and Snake Eyes, I believe,
on soft.
also
He's
on
soft
soft
as well.
And there's,
Yeah.
ooh, very late on the brakes there from Good Doc. Manages to pull it up just about and avoid contact. Snake Eyes still in this. Kez is a long way back. He's actually getting the blue flags for Revs and for Laminator now. Has been a race to forget for the BRZ driver. But good to see him continuing on. Getting
Right,
it done.
we'll see Benia in on this lap. He's in now.
Go. The guy with no skills will follow.
Yep.
I'm keeping tabs on this battle back here though. P7 down. Womble is leading a train of 3 cars. Trying to keep them together. Jump on with Revs Law now. This is where things are going to get interesting. Okay, so we're on the back straight now, coming up to the curve of Parabolica. Keep an eye on the top left corner of your screen. Benia is refueling right now. A guy with no skills comes into the pits. He's got to refuel. So Revs will probably jump him. Benia's going to be finished fueling about now. 55 litres in the tank. The mediums are on. and he is out of the pits, so he's got about the entire straight length in hand.
Yeah, he was 33 seconds behind, and he had just on 20 seconds cleared the pits with that short fuel.
So it's going to be about a 5-second gap by the time they get to the braking zone here. Let's have a look. Yep. Oh, look at that guess.
Yep.
About a 5-second gap indeed. So 5 seconds over 5 laps. What do you reckon?
Rebs is racy and Lemonade are behind. I think both of them will push forward to Benia.
It's interesting because
Benia's on mediums.
In theory, the soft tyre should be a second a lap faster over a lap. But this is Monza. There's less opportunity for the tyre to shine, given that there's less corners and the track is more focused on straight line speed. So it might be less than a second difference. The other thing you have to bear in mind is that Rebs...
0.8 he's lost in this lap today.
Since that first corner, yeah, it's about a second
down
now.
Out of 4.
So Rebs' tyres are fairly worn. He's been on them for about half a stint at this point. So they're not at their full capacity.
They're fresh.
They're pretty fresh?
Yeah.
They got, what do they have, about 25% wear or so?
No, only about 5. He did a middle stint on mediums, so he would have swapped out. When did Rebs
he run a 9-lap stint as well, so he's got good tyre life then. Okay.
He's got great tyre life, yeah.
They will wear out faster than the mediums though, having said that. What this is going to come down to is how comfortable Benia is on the medium tyre. Because transitioning from the grippy soft tyre to the much looser medium tyre can be a little bit difficult and take some acclimatising to. So that's a lot of time he's lost on that lap. He's going to have to keep it together if he wants to maintain that first place. The good news for Benia is he's not really under threat from anyone that matters to him. VF is way down at P4. He's got about 14 seconds to make up. That's going to be very hard to overcome. We'll have a look back at our group back here. Womble leading Debrev ahead of Good Doc and Snake Eyes. They're still together on track. Jump on board with Good Doc. Here at the back end of a CP Motorsports McLaren, it looks like. Slipstream's looking pretty good. It goes to the outside, 2 wheels on the grass. Almost looked like he couldn't make up his mind there. Around the outside goes Good Dog on the McLaren of CP Motorsports driver Debrev, and he gets the move done. Elbows out for that one for sure, but that was great driving from the Ferrari driver. Blacklight Motorsport team owner, of course. Been struggling for attendance so far this season, but nice to see him making it for the final race of the season. Here now we'll go in pursuit of Womble. Kick back in up the front.
Yeah, down to 2.5 seconds. Rebs is absolutely sending this. Yeah. And he's got the better fuel of the top 3 by a little bit. And Lemonade has pulled 3/10 out of Rebs.
So they are in reverse order of pace right now. So they are genuinely closing up in their entirety. So Laminator on the softs in the Supra. So he's in a really, really strong position to potentially take this win here. Rebs, of course, our Division 4 champion. We know what he can do behind the wheel of that GDR. Just need to keep an eye on the gap as it comes down. So 2.3 seconds the gap now between Benia and Rebs. Now that's only about a second gained on the last lap compared to about a 1.5, 2 seconds on Benia's out lap. So perhaps Benia getting a bit more used to the tyre, finding his rhythm.
Yep, I think, the tyres are coming back to him, and Lemonade is just 4/10 this lap on Rebs. So the Super is screaming.
Question. So fuel is going to play a factor in this as well. I wonder if Rebs is perhaps underfueled a little bit. What do you think?
No, Rebs has got the Rebs he's got the best fuel of the top 3 by about 3 or 4%.
Okay. But this should, in theory, come down to who can set the fastest last couple of laps.
Lemonade is purple.
Laminator's
through
on fire.
Ascari.
He is
Yep.
so fast right now. He is pushing that Supra to the absolute limit here at the end of the race. The fastest lap currently is held by Benia. It's a 48.569, which is absolutely nothing to scoff at. Don't forget that it was a 0.4 that took pole in this race and 0.3 that took pole in the next division up. So we're looking at a time right now that is only 2/10 off that, and Laminator here is about to blow it to smithereens.
And there's only, what are we starting, 2 laps? If Rebs and Laminator gets through on Benia, it's a tie for the championship P2 and 3. I think if the statisticians can work that out for us. So there's only 2 points different between VF had a 2-point lead coming to the round, 1-point lead coming to the round over Benia.
Yeah, well, it looks like Laminator's made a mistake somewhere that we didn't quite pick up on, because he's dropped off the back of Revs by another second.
Yeah.
So that might give the buffer to Benia that it might be in his best interest to let Revs law through here and just kind of latch onto the back of him and hope, stick with him.
Yeah, Rebs is purple in that first sector.
He's got 2.5 tenths up on that lap time as well, so slipstream playing a huge part there. Look, that Benia now a rear view mirror full of Revs law. That bright gold livery shining in his rear mirrors. Let's see what Benia does here.
It's going to be hard to hold him out on, yeah. The mediums, it'll be hard to hold him out.
Well, all he can do is go defensive for the entire last lap, and I mean the straight line speed of the Supra, look at that, he's just in the way of Revs, and there's not a lot that Revs can do in that situation. So let's see if Benia can do his best impersonation of the Mexican Minister of Defense here. Oh,
Oops.
big late lunge there from Revs straight to the back of Benia. Nearly pushed him all the way off the track. It looked like a little bit of a misjudgment of the braking point there.
And
but
that's brought Laminator within 8 tenths.
That's brought Laminator right back into this fight now. Let's have a look now on board with the Lightning Motorsports driver. This is the final lap of the season in Division 4 here for Season 7 at Sector 1. Into the first braking zone we go. We've got Benia leading the way against season champion in the form of Revs Law for Hooncorp. They're followed closely by a fast-charging Laminator who's been on fire for the second half of this race and is looking to say something about the win here. On board now with the Lightning Motorsport car as he follows the 2 cars ahead of him through the Curva Grande up towards the second of the chicanes here. Revs thinking about it again, not this time. Very deep from Laminator, he might go for a second move, he's got very loose on the way through, and that might throw him out of contention as they head towards the Lesmos. Into the right for the first time. Revs is still there. Benia parking the car exactly where he needs to.
We've got an issue, looks like Lucas, Gooddock and Womble had a T1 incident with a redress happening. There was nothing in it for P7, P8.
Oh, it's tough battles up and down. Revs goes for a huge send to the Ascari chicane. And through he goes into first place. Back to the lead of the race. What can Benia say about it, if anything? The Respawn driver will have to throw the kitchen sink at the Curva Parabolica. To the inside, to the outside. What can he do? Can he go for a switchback? Is anything on for him? Here. He needs that second place for the championship. Revs has gone wide. Get the drive on for the Respawn car. He can't quite get the traction. It's going to be second place. Revs Law wins the final race of the season. Look how close that finish was. Benia in P2, P3 for Laminator. What a great battle for these guys. VF is going to come home in a great P4 in that Mercedes. What a drive it's been from him. Quiet but controlled. Renegade in P5. He'll drop out of that podium position. A guy with no skills in P6 for Black Rose. Crosses the line in his GDR. P6 in the final round of the season. Snake Eyes in the ISA Esports Porsche. Come across the line to P7.
There are a couple issues on that last lap. I think through Ascari it might have been Snake Eyes and Debrev, and Womble and Gooddock got T1 on that lap. So a few close battles with a bit of contact.
Yeah, so we're just looking at a replay, but we haven't quite caught exactly what happened there. Guys have finished up now in any case. But it looked like, you're right, there was an incident between Womble and Good Doc. It looked like Good Doc perhaps put Womble in the sand or some such thing, turned them around, and yeah, had to redress because he was waiting for Womble to turn around. So very interesting. But good sportsmanship, it looked like, in any case. And what a finish it was up the top as well. Wow. Let's bring you guys over to our results screen. Here we are, results for the final round in Division 4 here. Rebs Law takes the spoils in P1 for HomeCorp in his gold liveried for HomeCorp. And he'll be happy to end the season on a massive high, putting his gold-plated livery on the top step of the podium in the final round. Benier takes P2, which catapults him up into P2 in the standings. So he'll be the second fastest Division 4 driver of the season. Laminator in P3 with the fastest lap, it's good to note, a 48.325. Just shows how fast he was driving that car in the late stages of the race. VF in P4, I think that's such an underrated drive. That Mercedes is not very strong around here at all. To put it in P4 at the end of the race, great drive from VF, and the consistency he showed was amazing. Renegade in P5.
And great team points. Great team points.
Of course, yeah. Let's not forget the team's championship as well. That's not over yet. And a guy with no skills behind Renegade. Snake Eyes in P7. Womble in P8. Brev P9. Good Doc in P10. Heza in P11. Finishes a lap down, unfortunately. Things happen. Graham, your thoughts?
Yeah, look, a great race, and Rebs finished the season where he started it. Brilliant drive. I really did like the drives for Benier and Laminator. Just Laminator with the fastest lap there, finished 0.09 to second and 2.5 tenths back to Laminator. I thought they were two great drives and very entertaining.
How spicy those two supers at the top make that race for Rebs. That was such a great final lap battle. One for the eight.
Yeah, and it was good to see the different strategies play out, and there's just seconds in it, but that choice can be a huge difference on this track.
There you have it. Rebs Law, Division 4 champion. With such a massive congratulations must be sent out to him. It's been a dominant season as displayed here at Monza. Benier will be second in the championship and VF will be third. And what a season it's been for these guys. Division 4, hold your heads up high. It's been fantastic watching from day one. And it's been a pleasure to be able to commentate on all of your races this season. So a big thank you to you guys. Driver of the day, of course, nominations coming in. We've got 2 for Laminator, 3 for Laminator. Yeah, I think Laminator has to be up there for driver of the day. What a drive it was. I think VF as well. I really want to throw him in the mix for you for that. What do you think, Graham?
Look, I think I think Laminator, it was sort of one of those standout drives for him, and to do that and get the fastest lap, but he was always trying to pull that time back. He drove a really good race. And VF, look, congratulations. I think that's locked in P3 in the championship. So congratulations to the podium, but also for the runners all year. There were battles up and down that pack, and they've been doing it since round one. Right. And a few of the guys without a bit of luck,
And a Mercedes, no less, for VF as well. What a fantastic season it's been. Of course, Dadson was the team. They picked the Mercedes when the selection process was going through. And then about a week into the season, Polyphony Digital released the new Mercedes AMG and put the 2016 AMG, which Dadson picked, on that shelf for the toys that you don't play with anymore, and forgot about it. So here we are with a slightly less competitive car and VF showing that a good driver can take it places. So very well done.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, we're going to go to an intermission now, team. We will be back in a couple of minutes for more action from Division 2. But what a pleasure it's been with Division 4. So once again, thank you guys very much for that. It's been great to watch you guys throughout the season. We will be back very shortly.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Adam.
Welcome back, Sector 1 Sim Racing fans from Australia, New Zealand, and around the world. We are back, and here it is, Division 2. This is the last race of Season 7. Now is the time to get emotional. The waterworks, let them flow. It's been a ride with everyone here at Sector 1 for Season 7, but all good things must come to an end, and here we are at the last race of the season. Of course, this season, if you weren't here from the start, here's the layout that we ended up with. It was a 12-round season. Every driver drove 2 cars, a Group 4 and a Group 3 of their selected manufacturer. We've had Toyotas, Nissans, Alfa Romeos, all sorts up and down our fields this season, and it's been an absolute ride from start to finish. We just got done with Division 4 for the last time this season, and we are about to go into racing action for Division 2. These guys are just about ready to rock, and the championship fight is now decided as well. So here we are with our standings there for Division 2. Lenosis at the top, with just over 300 points, and the Lunacy in second is not racing tonight, which means that Lenosis has officially been crowned the Sector 1 Division 2 champion. So a massive congratulations to Lenosis and the Obsession Motorsport team. It's been a fantastic season for him. Yet to this point, dominated several races over the course of the season, and even overcome a points penalty at the beginning of the season for changing his vehicle. Evil Evo will be present tonight in the Alfa Romeo, so he's currently in 3rd place in the championship and is not at huge risk to losing out to Old Wakey, but I'm sure he'll be wanting to get the best result he can to make sure that that does not happen. Stickers there in P5 in the Lightning Motorsport entry. DP Mario for Black Rose, I believe, is not present tonight. No, he is present tonight, my mistake. That's one of the ones that is here. Crazy Good Kung Fu is absent for ICE Esports, so his season is run and done. Black Friday will be here for Red Mist in a special livery entry. Dadson for Dadson Racing Team. Race Fan, of course. Karen Unleashed, not present at the moment. He not able to make tonight's race. Pat Star, also not available tonight. Maverick, Tim Durags. Tim Durags will be here tonight. We've got a slightly smaller field than usual. 9 drivers entered in tonight's race. But I'm sure they will put on a show for us as best they can. I am joined in the box, of course, for the second race of the evening by Carbonboy. Say hello, good sir.
Hello, good sir.
You could not contain your laughter when you said that, could you? You were so proud of that joke.
I am so happy about that one, not gonna lie. That'll be the best call I make tonight, I think. But I'm looking forward to tonight's race, actually. While we do have a slightly reduced field, it has been quite the competitive field in the practice session we've been running for the last hour or so.
It's been competitive. It's been saucy, has it?
Well, we ran a couple of test starts just to let people get the Ritofilio niggles out of their system, and there were some less than ideal scenarios. So we did run a couple of extra test starts just to let everyone get themselves sorted out, and the last one was very impressive. So if they can replicate that on lap 1 of the race tonight, I will be incredibly proud.
Right. Well, we'll see if they can do that for us. So yes, Monza once again, the Temple of Speed. If you're not familiar, get familiar. We're about to go racing here. It's going to be a great time. Qualifying about to begin. A couple of messages in chat. Geesh says, Lenosis, welcome to Div 1 next season. Of course, it's going to be a bit of a change for him. And Karen Unleashed has given us the green light to reveal why he is not present this evening. Karen, he didn't give birth to a baby. His wife gave birth to a baby in hospital yesterday. So he is currently unavailable for those reasons. So a massive congratulations from the entire Sector 1 community to you, Karen. Yeah, congratulations. Welcome to parenthood. And I hope you're looking forward to it. It's very enjoyable and very rewarding. Now, we will move on to our qualifying session. Here we are at Monza with a 10-minute qualifying session.
Now, being that it's Karen, I would normally have some sort of smart aleck remark to make at this point. However, I will refrain from doing so and pass on my congratulations to Karen and his partner, and hopefully that all three of them, including the new bubs, are all doing well.
Sounded like great news, and all the best, of course, in your journey. It's going to be great. The future of Sector 1 is in good hands. We've got, already we have a father-son duo in Sector 1 in our ranks, and one of those, that pairing, is actually on track right now. That's Old Wakey here in Supra for Kraken Esports, and son Young Wakey, who is in Division 1 and actually got his first race win in Sector 1 just last week. And of course now a second pairing possibly on the way between Karen and his son, and of course I'm hoping that my son, who was born this year, will also make his way into Sector 1 at some point. And maybe my son and Brent's son will go for the Sector 1 championship head-to-head one year. Maybe season 18 of Sector 1. I guess we'll see. Youngest in S1. Yes, of course.
There would be a few years, I would imagine, between now and them entering Sector 1.
Yeah, well, you'd hope about 10 years. I mean, you never know what sort of prodigies we might have spawned into the world, but yeah, if we say 10 years, then we're probably looking at about season 18 of Sector 1. But we'll see. Anyway, we digress from the main topic. Here is your champion-elect, Lenosis, on track at the moment. Division 2 champion for Season 7. A huge congratulations. Little known fact, a big fan of snacking on garlic bread and chocolate at the same time, if you will. But we'll move on from that. He's got a half-second penalty now out of the second chicane, so that's written off his first lap. So he'll have to reset and start again there. Evil Evo 9 and P2 here in the Alpha. I'm very excited to see how the Alpha goes around here for Doghouse. Should be very interesting. Dadson in the Movember liveried Mercedes. We saw a great result, of course, for VF in the last race. And there is the yellow banner across the top of Dadson's car to signify he was the Division 3 champion last season. Black Friday in P4 in the Supra in a very flash-looking red mist livery. So that is a newer green beacon design. Unsure of which can it's based off, as I don't see too much sign writing on it, but a very unique looking design, that's for sure. Might be Halloween based. Not sure about that one. So Tim Durags for ISA Esports in the Porsche. So he joined us about halfway through the season, and he is definitely settled into Sector 1 now, looking to make his mark here at Monza. Old Wakey in P6 in the Supra for Kraken Esports. Stickers in P7, White Motorsport team owner. Race fan for CP Motorsports. He had a bit of a moment on the way out of the Parabolica last time around, and CP Mario for Black Rose comes across the line, and he goes P3. So Black Friday, your provisional pole sitter in the Supra of Red Mist. Old Wakey in P2 there in the Supra as well for Kraken Esports. CP Mario now sitting P3 for Black Rose.
It's a bit of a surprise to the start of the qualifying session, as Black Friday goes through Sector 1 3/10 purple, but he unfortunately has Dadson in front of him, holding him up a little bit from all appearances, so that might just hurt him along the later part of this lap.
Well, he might be looking to pick up a slipstream, you never know, but I guess we'll see. We'll have to have a look at his sector split on the way into Ascari, but it might be in his best interest to pit at the end of this lap, put on a fresh set of tyres, and go for another stint here. Still purple. He's doing alright. May have to push
I think
Dadson along towards the line.
Yeah, I think he might want to get past him down the main straight here. At least, I would.
See what he decides to do. It looks like he's backing off, which is interesting. He was up on his time. Let's see it. Otis goes to pole. 3/10 clear of Black Friday. Of course, that first lap was a bit of a write-off for the championship champion-elect. So he's set himself at 48.1, which is about 4/10 clear of what we saw in Division 4. Let's see if that time gets improved upon get through this session. We're on board now with Black Friday, provisionally P2 ahead of DP Mario, who's just set a faster time once again. The times are coming in thick and fast now. We've got about 4 minutes left of this qualifying session. Second chicane. He's still got Dadson right in front of him. Interested to see what the strategy is here. He was purple on Lenosis' time. He's going to pick up a little bit of slipstream, but here he is once again on the back of Dadson.
Yeah, not the place on track you want somebody in front of you, especially if they're just that little bit slower than you are.
Yeah, even at the very least it's a visual distraction, right? So it can make all the difference to your lap. Definitely did not give enough space. There you go, and look at that. He's closed right up. Now he's going to try go by. 3.5 tenths up. Dadson rightfully closes the door there. Qualifying, and there you go, 1 second penalty, and he's not even going to get to serve that this lap. So, right now, if you're Black Friday, you have to pit right now. There is absolutely no reason to go around again. Because you're going to serve that penalty on the next lap, so it's not going to count for anything in any case. Let's see what he does. Dadson. Will Dadson improve? Black Friday does not go into the pits. Not interested. Interesting strategy, to say the very least. Carrying a 1.5 second penalty, he's going to have to serve that this lap. There's Lenosis out in front with a bit of clear air. Now that's where you want to be. No one in front, no one behind, able to just do your thing. Stickers up to P2. Now that is the stickers we've come to expect to see. P2 provisionally.
That's better.
Very nice from
Much
the
better.
team owner.
Somebody who did choose to come into the pits for a fresh set of boots was DP Mario in the Black Rose GDR.
There it is. So yeah, I think Black Friday's made a critical error to not come in that time around, because this lap he's on right now counts for nothing. It serves as an outlet essentially, and just one more lap waste, burning up tyres. He could have gone and got a fresh set, and then given himself one more shot towards the end. But as it
definitely better to serve the penalty on an out lap than a hot lap.
Not to mention, he's still in the same position on track. There's a good chance that he makes the same error again and runs into Dadson.
Yeah, I think he's missed a trick there, unfortunately.
Keep an eye on him, see what he does. There he is, he's going to serve his 1.5 second penalty on this back straight here. That'll definitely open up the gap to Dadson, but he's got a couple of guys behind him as well, such as the Porsche driver, Isacar. Here we go, now he's looking for the space. He really does. He's going to jump straight in behind the Toyota Supra of... Who is that? That's not Stickers, is it?
That is Old Wakey, who I was just riding on board with and has put himself into P2.
Great lap from Old Wakey. 2.5 tenths off the champion elect. Stickers up to P2 and only 0.5 tenth behind Lenosis. He's got one more chance to unseat the champion elect. And Lenosis is 2/10 purple, but he's carrying a 0.5 second penalty. So this lap is essentially a write-off for the champion elect. And Stickers has one last chance to unseat the Obsession driver. Now this qualifying just got saucy.
As speaking of saucy, Old Wakey is 1/10 purple through the first sector. on his final qualifying lap.
And look at Black Friday. Black Friday is once again on the rear bumper of the car in front of him. So he simply refuses to get clear air here. Demanding a slipstream from anyone and everyone. But it's causing him just about as much harm as it's causing him good. Let's jump on board. We'll see what his sector split is here. Into Ascari.
He's the opposite kind of driver to me. I like to be well away from everybody else in qualifying. You can keep your slipstream. Or old Wakey, very sideways through Ascari.
That's going to ruin his lap. If he bails out, looks like he's going to. There we go. Very polite from old Wakey. Allows Black Friday a clear run to the line into the Parabolica.
Great awareness and very, very good track manners there from old Wakey.
That's exactly what we expect to see from old Wakey. He's a veteran of the sport. He's been around for long enough. Evil Evo goes to P6. Black Friday will improve. Black Friday goes to pole. A 47.860 is enough to unseat the champion-elect. Sticker's yet to set a time. Across the line he comes. He goes better, but it's not enough. 0.005 to Lenosis. Black Friday, provisional pole. Lenosis, provisional P2. Stickers, provisional P3. DP Mario comes across the line for P5, and that is everyone. What a qualifying session that was.
Wow. Stickers might have been carrying a few sandbags in the boot of that car during the practice session.
He's not showing what he's got.
I'd say he was definitely holding his cards close to his chest because, well, that was a fantastic qualifying effort from him. Not gonna hold back any credit when credit's due.
Well, you know what I think about that though. Stickers, I guarantee he's sitting in the rig disappointed because he couldn't get Lenosis. Look at the gap. The gap is 0.005 to P2. Stickers could have been on the front row. As it is now, DP Mario has a chance of overtaking him before turn 1. And all that 0.005 of lap time. So he'll be kicking himself. Despite a great performance, he will be kicking himself. And, you know, I'm sure we all know Stickers is very hard on himself when it comes to his performances. So he'll be looking at that more negatively than we are. But, you know, when all's said and done, that's a great qualifying performance from him when it needed to be done. Black Friday as well. Pole position, 47.860, over a 10th clear of the champion-elect in the form of Lenosis. And Old Wakey down in P4 there was a couple of tenths behind Stickers as well. So that top 3, head and shoulders above the rest. DP Mario will be looking to get a good start in that GDR and jump a couple of cars in front of him. Those Supras notoriously slow off the line. Evil Evo 9 in the Alpha 4C will also be quick off the line. Dadson 2, same story. Race Fan in the 650S down in P8. And we'll move to the second page, which has got Tim Durags in the Porsche for ISA Esports down in P9.
Tell you what, that's a fantastic effort from Evil Evo to put that little Alpha on P6 on the grid. And with a fairly respectable lap time too, a 148.6 in the Alpha. That's moving.
It's a very little car with not much to it. But yeah, I'm excited to see how the start goes down. What do you say we kick it in the guts for the last time this season?
Let's do it. It's taken me until the final race to finally get that orange 3D printed button cover on there so I don't have to paint it all the time. And we are 7 seconds to go.
All right, for the last time in Season 7 here for Sector 1, we are about to go racing. So make sure you grab everything you need. Grab your snacks, your garlic bread, your chocolate if you're Lenosis. Both of them at the same time if you must. Here we are on the grid. Black Friday on pole position. Lenosis next to him. The lights are on. The drivers are ready. The lights are out and we go racing. It's a good start from all those at the front. Look at the Alpha go in the background though. He's passed 1. He's passed 2. He's up to P4 now. as they head into turn 1. They're going to be too wide at the front here. Lenosis up the inside of the Toyota of Black Friday. There's a bit of contact
race fan.
Race fan into the side of the Alpha. The Alpha has been turned around and reset. 2 drivers drop to the back of the field. And Lenosis gets out in front. DP Mario and Stickers both got the better of Black Friday there as well. We're definitely going to have to look at a replay of that at some point. But the upshot is your champion-elect leads the way here at Monza ahead of Stickers after his fantastic qualifying session. And DP Mario goes off the track as well. You see that there? And a dangerous re-entry puts him straight to the path of Old Wakey and Dadson, exiting the second chicane there. Oh, it's been absolute chaos off the start here.
Yep, DP Mario carrying a little bit of damage to the front aero and the right-hand front wheel as well after that little incident.
Been rough and tumble off the bat. And it looks like it's not going to stop here. Black Friday right on the back of Stickers here. Is he going to go for a move? Not into Ascari.
I think someone who might be cheering about all the chaos on lap 1 will be Dadson, who's currently up into P4.
Dadson's had a great start. He's got away from the trouble where he needed to. He does have a rear view mirror full of Old Wakey though. We'll see what Wakey can do here. Look at the straight line speed advantage that Supra has on the Mercedes down towards the Parabolica. It's easy pickings for Old Wakey as they come down. Through he will go. Look at this battle for second. Black Friday, he wants it. To the inside he goes. Not able to make anything happen here. Perhaps on a fuel save. Gonna go for the move. Not interested in bump drafting this time around. He wants that P1 position up ahead. So he's gonna go for it. Great run through the chicane. Textbook move that time around from Black Friday. Fantastically done. And very close to Lenosis here. Not far behind whatsoever. Looking good so far. Now, I want to have a look at the start from the perspective of race fan. Let's have a look now. This is the run down to turn 1 on board with the CP Motorsports McLaren. Now, you see everyone get on the brakes up here and cars moving in and out, and he got on the grass, and that is what ruined his braking performance and put him into the side of the Alpha. So he parks up on the side, waits for the Alpha to go. That's a redress successfully made, and off he goes. So in the grand scheme of things, did the right thing in the end, but you know, the incident was there, and that's of course really put pain to Evil Evo's race. I think that Alpha needed
not a great
yeah.
start for the both of them.
No, that's definitely put them on the back foot. But it's a long race, plenty of time to recover, and Race Fan will be looking to do everything he can to get that done.
Now, while it's not quite a fuel and tyre update, as it's only lap 2, it's a bit early, but I think it is worth mentioning that at the moment, Lenosis is out in front, but he is on the racing medium tyres, whereas the 2 Supras of Black Friday and Stickers behind him are on the racing softs, as is Old Wakey, who's a little bit further down the road. The next medium tyre runner is Dadson in P5, who has a bit of a gap to Tim DeRags, who's on the softs, Evil Evo and Race Fan, and DP Mario, who looks like he's had a bit of a shocker on that lap, as he's now in P9. All 3 of those drivers are on the racing mediums as well.
Okay, so lots of medium runners on track right now. While you were explaining that, we just witnessed Black Friday, who's going for a move on Lenosis right now into the Redifilio chicane.
Gets it done, but he does.
He's carrying that 1 second, which he picked up at the first chicane, and he wasn't even going for a move at that first chicane. So he'll be kicking himself for that one, because definitely did not need that. So that's probably going to drop him back behind Stickers and Lenosis once again, which is not what he needs on the superior tyre.
Definitely not. I think Stickers will be, well, he'll have his hands on the wheel, but metaphorically he'll be rubbing his hands together with glee at this situation. He's got Lenosis' slipstream, and the guy who's out in P1 has a 1 second penalty, which he will have to serve this lap.
I think we're going to see Stickers go for the move P1 in into the first corner. Next lap. Lenosis, there's a half-second gap now. Heads into...
Old
the
Wakey coming in hot. Or has a look up the inside of Black Friday at Parabolica. Backs out of it.
Can't quite do it.
I think he's going to be quite content to settle for a slipstream down the main straight, I think.
Right, now this is where decision making is very important. So stickers, here you go, Lenosis is at it again. So that's being very, very defensive, which is the right thing to do in this position because he's on the worst tyre. Being on the worst tyre, the longer you can hold up the drivers behind you and keep them behind you, the better, basically. That's as simple as it gets. So he is trying to break the toe on the straights and he's defending on the way into corners. So he has prevented that time Stickers from getting past. Now, the question I have is, has Stickers figured out yet that he has a superior tyre to Lenosis? Because the grip on the soft tyre could be considerably more so than the mediums, as Lenosis gets very sideways, but it doesn't affect him too badly because he backs up into Stickers, who gets left with nowhere to go. Oh! Wow! And Stickers is just accidentally, I think, bumped Lenosis off the track, who's fallen back now to fourth. It looked like they just both got a little bit crossed up into the first Lesmo, and Lenosis ended up on the receiving end of a charging Supra. Have to have a look at that again.
I would love to see a replay of that.
Alright, well, have a look at the stream in just a moment. Pull it up for you, but before we do, just want to see what's going to happen here. Black Friday is on the back of Stickers, and Stickers has no toe to hide behind. Up the inside for Black Friday into the Parabolica. Gonna go side by side. Stickers gets shuffled out wide a little bit there on the way through. And around they go, but Stickers now with the benefit of the slipstream as they come down the main straight, and a great drive out of the Parabolica. Look at this. The Lightning Motorsport car has so much pace down the straight here. They're side by side already. Stickers with the nose ahead as they head down to the chicane, and he's got the inside line here. It should be easy pickings for the Lightning Motorsport driver, but it looks like Black Friday's going to try around the outside. He can't quite do it, but he's going to keep his nose in it, and Stickers nearly gets completely sideways. Lenosis has cut across the middle and been reset. It goes from bad to worse for the champion-elect in the Obsession Motorsport car. Black Friday is still going at it against Stickers, trying to get by every which way, and Old Wakey is sitting there waiting for these guys to take each other out and sneak through for P1.
Not a bad strategy, if I'm honest.
They're looking every which way. Stickers is not taking this lying down, and he insists on fighting it back. Black Friday is doing everything he can to hold on to this position, and Old Wakey is just sitting there watching.
Yep, he's a smart fox, Old Wakey. He's probably looking at these two swinging haymakers at each other and thinking, nope, I am not getting involved in that. I'll just wait for an incident to happen and I will reap the benefits.
Yeah, so a little bit of fuel saving probably as well with the benefit of the slipstream and these guys holding themselves up. They're going to be very off the pace, but it doesn't really matter if you're at the front of the field right now, because in this first stint, all that matters is where you are when that first stop comes in. After that, you're on your own. Parabolica once again. Stickers will be able to go for a move into turn one this time probably. Looks like he's going to get a better run once again. The inside goes Black Friday. The gap is 3/10. Not going to be enough. Stickers not interested, it seems, in picking up that slipstream. He's happy to just sit on the outside. Lenosis into the pits. Race Fan into the pits.
Yep, both of those running the medium tyre for their first stint. So that's that component done. Now they can just run the soft tyre until the rest of the race.
So this battle continues to rage on. Dadson is in a fairly strong position right about now. He's in P4 after those errors from Lenosis, ahead of Tim DeRags. We're going to have a look now. They're still going at it hammer and tong up here. It's hard to look away. Old Wakey is still in this battle. Now, I want to know when he's going to think about a move, because at some point you've got to think, Lenosis is on a different strategy now. We need to get a move on.
Interesting how Dadson is on the medium tyres and still out there rather than coming into the pits.
I wonder if he's going for that elusive one-stop we were talking about earlier. Let's have a look here on board with Stickers. This is what happened at the first Lesmo with Lenosis. Here they go, and Lenosis got onto the inside grass, and Stickers was left with nowhere to go but into the back of Lenosis. Ended up forcing him onto the gravel.
Fair enough, fair enough. If the car in front of you's already a bit loose and you've got nowhere to go, it's a bit hard.
Bump into the wall at the apex for Lenosis just put him off camber essentially and forced him to slow down on exit, and that was what caused Stickers to go into the back of him.
Can't really point fingers at that kind of incident.
No, I think it's going to be deemed a racing incident. I'm no steward, but that'd be my guess at this stage, but we'll let them deal with that.
And Dadson goes around for another lap. He might be on to that one stop.
Well, we're lap 7. There's a couple of guys that have already come into the pits. What do you say we go through our APR Automotive Tyre and Fuel update?
Rightio. So out in P1 at the moment, Stickers, and Old Wakey's made his way to P2. But Stickers is on the racing soft compound. He's looking after his tyres fairly well as he goes purple through the first sector. He's got about 20% wear on the front left, maybe 30% on the rear left, and he's probably on about just over 40% fuel in the tank. Old Wakey, who's unfortunately picked up a half-second penalty, I believe, at the second chicane, which I'm having a mental blank on the name of at the moment. Raji, anyway, he's also on the racing soft compound. He's probably got about 20% wear on the front left, again 30% on the rear left. Pretty identical, maybe a little bit lower on fuel than Stickers by a couple of percent. Black Friday is also on the racing soft compound, fairly identical for fuel and tyres to the two guys in front of him, as Old Wakey serves that penalty and will let Black Friday cruise on past. Dadson in P4 is on the racing medium tyres, and those fronts are looking very healthy with about 5% wear, maybe 10 to 12% wear on the rear left, and he's down to just on a quarter of a tank of fuel right now. Tim Durags in the ISA Porsche is on the racing soft compound with about 10% wear on the front tyres and about, well, he's very close to half worn on the rear left and is just on a quarter of a tank of fuel as well. Evil Evo is still on the racing medium compound in the Little Alpha. The tyres are looking very healthy on the front with less than 10% wear and possibly about 20% on the rear, and is bang on a quarter of a tank of fuel. DP Mario in the GTR is on the racing medium still with about 10% wear on the front left and the same again on the rear, and he has just under half a tank of fuel. So he is it's not saying outlap for me.
No, he hasn't.
And I'm looking at his lap times, and I'm not seeing any times that indicate a pit stop. So
he is massively fuel saving. Here is shift.
He's actually doing a really good job of it too, to be honest. Like, he's on lap 8, he's on half a tank of fuel. That's a sensational effort. Let's see how the one stop pays off for him.
Well, his pace isn't fantastic, but he's going to cut out a pit stop, so he's probably not going to find 20 seconds on Stickers, but it'll be interesting to see how far he gets.
Down in P8 on a fresh set of racing softs is Lenosis. He's got just on 3/4 of a tank of fuel and, well, 1 lap old racing softs. And finally in P9 is Racefan, who also started on the racing mediums and is on 1 lap old racing softs, and he's just over 3/4 of a tank of fuel.
Right, very good.
And back to Stickers and Black Friday up the front. It looks like Black Friday is bump drafting Stickers down the main straight. Oh, and a little bit of Morse code in the braking zone, but Stickers manages to pull it up beautifully. I think these two. I think Black Friday might be. Oh, sorry, Trio. Yeah, might be wanting to work together a little bit to try and put a little bit of a gap on Lenosis, who they know is on the alternate strategy to them.
Yeah, well, Lenosis put himself on the back foot, but he's not going to see these guys again until the very end of the race, basically. So they've really got to keep their act together. And Black Friday is kind of bouncing between Stickers and Old Wakey up and down because he keeps making mistakes, but his pace is excellent. So just needs to put a few laps in at very, very high pace. These guys will be in with a good spot. Dadson P4, he's still got pressure from Tim Durags, but he's holding his own. And Evil Evo 9 behind them. That Alpha is just kind of plugging along at the moment after that earlier incident. And got, of course, Race Fan at the back who was involved in that early incident. So he ended up on the back foot in the early stages because of that incident. So he's playing comeback game now, trying to recover as much of this race as he can. So already made a pit stop. There's a fair gap to the guys in front. We'll have a check in now. On this battle for P4, Tim Durags up the inside on the way to the curve of Parabolica. Dadson has fallen behind now. Both into the pits this time around. So end of lap 9. Tim Durags in on the softs. Now that is telling. Of course, we heard about the tyres before. But the fact that Dadson was able to stay so close to Tim Durags on an inferior tyre is a huge testament to Dadson's performance so far in this race. So in goes the fuel. They'll come out of the pits very shortly. The gap at the front has opened up a little bit, and now we're going to see what happens for Lenosis. It's past the pit lane. So those guys will have to fill right up, by the way.
Dadson didn't have much of a choice with coming into the pits this lap. He was running on the smell of an oily rag and has, as you said, completely brimmed the tank, as has Evil Evo.
So onto the softs for a soft stint, rapid stint for those guys. 9 laps on the mediums, very, very interesting race. That leaves them with 16 laps remaining, so that's going to be 8 lap stint each on the soft tyres. So they've really sacrificed a couple of laps there for the sake of a longer stint on mediums. Now,
I've done some research in my few seconds off there. Rogier or Rogier is the name of. Well, I've sounded it out on Google and it's telling me Rogier.
Rogier.
So Rogier, but Rogier sounds much more pleasant. So let's go with Rogier.
So that's the first chicane, second chicane.
Second chicane. First chicane is Rettifilio, which I can hear Brent screaming at me from all that distance away.
Brent knows. Right. Our leaders are in all together, and Black Friday is the best out of the 3 of them on fuel. Now, DP Mario's not going to catch these guys on this this stint, I wouldn't think. Or he might actually. Oh, there we go. They've started fueling now, and he's just coming around the curve of Parabolica. They'll head down the straight. The question is, will they fill to halfway, or will they go further? So, looks like Black Friday and Stickers. No, they're all going onto the mediums. Okay.
Yep. They're all running an identical strategy
here. Here we go. And so now, look at this. DP Mario, we can assume, is on a 1-stop at this point. And he is now on track with 3 other drivers that are also yet to make 1 more stop. So he's going to be on the back foot. Their pace is going to be significantly better than his because they are not fuel saving. But this is huge for him. He's going to pick up a slipstream from these guys now and be able to save fuel much more easily. And then he's going to pit very soon and put on his softs, and he'll be good to the end.
This will definitely benefit Mario more than the 3 drivers around him,
absolutely.
Because
he is racing these guys. They can't say, oh, we're not in the same race because you're on a different strategy. He is racing these guys. They all owe 1 more stop. So
he does have temperature in his tyres. They're all on the same compound. He's got not a lot of wear on the tyres, so that's fairly negligible, but he has got them up to temperature, whereas the other 3 are still running cold tyres. And he's on a quarter of a tank of fuel, so he's got a lighter fuel load than they do.
He may have a lot of fuel load, but he's also fuel compromised. So he's on a big fuel save, which means his pace is going to be off. You can see already the gap to Black Friday is stretched out to about a second. There it goes. So he's now lost that benefit of the slipstream, and it's going to fall into the clutches of Old Wakey very quickly. But the damage is done. He has just, in this lap alone, he's probably saved a heck of a lot of fuel. He's held up Old Wakey and Stickers behind him. So he's just put himself in a much stronger spot than he was before.
Most definitely. He did get a little bit loose through the second Lesmo onto the back straight, so that did cost him a little bit of time. And that Supra has just done Supra things and completely blown past the GDR down the main straight.
Well, I think DP Mario's done the right thing there, because he knew that he was going to get overtaken there. So he just put the car up into map 6, got off the power, and let the Supra through without losing either of them any time, and saved himself an extra bunch of fuel in the process.
And he's got himself a slipstream again to boot.
He does. He's playing high-speed chess while the other guys are playing checkers here, is DP Mario. This is a masterclass from the Black Rose driver. See how long he can keep it for. He has lost the slipstream now, but he's got another opportunity in the form of Stickers, and he's yet to go back onto more softs as well.
And he's looking really good for fuel as well. He's probably on about 15% left in the tank on lap 12, which that's a sensational effort.
He's done very well. If he can make it all the way to lap 15, he'll actually get a regular length stint on those softs at the end. I imagine he's going to pit end of 13 or 14, but get this far on its own, huge achievement. Lenosis there is behind these guys as well on his softs, don't forget. Oh, Mario gets loose at the end of Ascari, but he's held onto it and he's still in slipstream range.
That is, he picks up a half-second penalty for his troubles, but that is definitely a car control moment. That was all sorts of out of shape, and he's managed to keep it together.
Done well. He is on the back foot now, though. Lenosis is going to go breezing by him on this run down to the Rectilio chicane.
Yeah, there is some serious short shifting going on with that GTR. Oh, actually not bad. He was revving it out a fair amount. A lot more than I thought he would be.
His mind is 100% focused on that fuel save. Into the Curva Grande. Holding on to that slipstream of Lenosis. So he's still doing well. So he's P5 on the road, and that is a genuine position right now. And this is lap 13. So he is now halfway. So he can pit now, and he's just got to do the same again. The only catch is that he's lost a lot of time against these guys by cutting out a pit stop, and he's going to lose the same amount of time as them from here to the end of the race.
I did do some testing myself, trying to do a one-stop. This was in a Supra, so take it with a grain of salt. I found I had to make 13 laps, I had to run, it was a fuel map 3 and shift halfway up the rev range. And that cost me 2 seconds a lap running that kind of pace.
That was what you had to do to get to the 13 laps, is that right?
Yes. So in my own testing, I ran a 2-stop strategy and then a 1-stop strategy. And the total race time for the 1-stop strategy was 20 seconds slower than the 2-stop.
Alright, here we go. The battle of the admins. Lenosis versus Stickers. Up the inside for the Obsession Motorsport car, and it looks like Stickers is just going to let it happen. He's not going to have much choice in the matter. It's soft tyres versus medium tyres. It should be easy pickings for the champion-elect. Here he goes into P3 on the recovery drive.
Now, Lenosis has really got to make hay while the sun shines in this middle couple of laps, because I'm going to presume that Black Friday, Wakey and Stickers are only going to run the medium tyres for approximately 5 laps, given that they pitted on the end of lap 10, meaning that they intend to run a second stop stint of another 10 laps. So He's really got to get a wiggle on in these laps. I mean, he's 3.2 seconds behind the leader at the moment, so he's certainly not mucking around.
He's doing well. He's in a good position. And yeah, he's got a tyre advantage, but he is racing these guys on the road because they've all done one stop. So he's got to get close. But I think he's in a very good position. And he's got an entire another lap to bring that gap down, because these guys are going to pit at the end of lap 15. Gets on the Astra on the exit of Ascari. That might come with an invoice. We've seen that a couple of times today. Looks like he's going to get away with it. 2.9 is the gap.
Another little battle that's brewing that I might just keep my eye on is down in P5 and 6. The gap between DP Mario and Racefan is down to just over a second. Actually, no, that won't be brewing because Mario is out of fuel and is coming into the pits, so never mind that.
End of lap 14. So he's got to do 11 laps on the socks. That's fantastic. He's done very well to get there.
That's going to work out well for him because he's done 14 laps. Now he only has to do 11, so I'm going to keep an eye on the fuel because I think he'll brim the tank and then he'll just be able to go that little bit harder for the rest of the race.
Ideally, yeah, he's going to want to go balls to the wall for the remainder of the race here. Notice this is purple on his fastest lap again. 47.8 currently the lap to beat. I don't know if anyone else is going to be capable of surpassing that, but Lenosis looks like he's going to try and improve it anyway. Needs to get close to these guys, so it's probably worth it for him in any case. 2 seconds now.
Mario is out of the pits and he has completely brimmed the tank. So he's going to be going flat chat for the rest of this race.
Well, I think he's still going to have to do a bit of saving because it's still a longer stint than everyone else is running. But he's definitely going to be a lot less fuel compromised than he was for that first.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know how many laps a GDR can do around here at full throttle. Perhaps someone in the chat can enlighten me.
I think it's probably 9 or 10. He's definitely going to have to save for at least one. But in the GDR, it's not impossible. But he is going to sacrifice a little bit of lap time, so we'll have to see how that compares to the others. So he is on fresh tyres right now, so he's technically on an undercut on the guys out the front because they're all coming in now. There you go. See them all in. Race fan will come in this lap too, presumably. Yep, there he goes. Him to Rags, and Dadson's still battling it out for P6. Either of them come in this lap? No. So these guys did 9 laps on their mediums to start with. So they are due to do 2 more laps. As they go wheel to wheel on the way down to the Redifilio chicane. Pushed onto the grass there is Dadson, looking to the outside, not able to make anything happen. That's to settle for second place.
I do think we will see Tim into the pits a little bit before Dadson, as he has just hit the fuel light now, whereas Dadson is looking very comfortable for fuel on about 30% in the tank.
Quartet of Supers has just exited the pits, and Stickers has done a Geesh and gone way too deep into the Redifilio chicane on the exit of the pits. Saw that last week from our Division 1 champion. So mistakes being made up and down the Division Sector 1 ranks by all drivers. Quartet of Supras trying to sort out this win between them without allowing DP Mario a chance at it. DP Mario is quite far off them now, so he is out of the battle for the win.
This Dadson Tim DeRags battle is on for young and old. There's lots of mind games going on down the back straight.
Been wheel to wheel several times this race. Very interesting to watch, but it looks like Dadson's going to have to sit where he is for now.
If only Dadson knew what Tim's fuel situation was like, and let me tell you, Dadson, it's not good. You're probably going to see him peel off to the right and head into pit lane, and he does. And Dadson goes around again.
But Tim Durags was on mediums again then. Did he run 2 stints on the mediums?
I believe he started on the softs.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Dadson was on the area tyre. Which is interesting. Dadson hasn't really pulled away. Not since. Been kind of stuck where he is. Evil Evo is still very much on his own in the Alpha. Gonna have to keep a watchful eye for the Supras behind him. Now, if you're Lenosis, what's your thought process? You've all done your final pit stop. You know you're on the same strategy as the 2 guys in front. What's going through your mind right about now?
Go purple first sector. That's a good start. Drive fast. Don't crash. Maybe some slipstream.
Yep.
Maybe some slipstream. Save some fuel if necessary because, well, no, they're all... He is a couple of % lower on fuel than the 2 in front of him, but knowing Lenosis like I do, that's not going to be a problem because I've seen him fuel up multiple times this season and thought to myself, cutting it a bit fine there, you sure you got enough fuel? And yeah, he's finished the race with plenty of fuel in hand, so I've given up questioning his choices there.
So what you're telling me is that Lenosis is a precision fuel engine.
I don't know if I'd say that, but I'll definitely say he's a lot better at it than I am.
So he's 1.1 behind Black Friday.
Oh, Black Friday has gone very sideways at the Parabolica. Oh, that's going to hurt.
Loose under throttle, and that's going to hand an easy P2, or P4 rather, to Lenosis on the road.
Oh, that was massive. That was some great car control to hang on to that.
Very well saved. Good to keep it pointing the right way, but he's lost out big time with that incident.
Racetrack staff, there is a code brown at Parabolica. Repeat, code brown.
So through the Redifilio for DP Mario and Race Fan right now. So Race Fan after that early incident was way off the back, and he's now found himself ahead of DP Mario. So it's starting to look like that one-stop strategy was not the go for the G Cup. It looked good for a moment. He was in a great spot, but because of that fuel...
Oh, Race Fan has gone very deep at Rogia. And is Rogia, and has handed the P7 back to DP Mario.
So maybe I lied about the strategy being incorrect. Maybe he knows more than I do. But P7 right now for DP Mario, bit of Race Fan. Tim Durags very much on the back foot right now, but hopefully looking for a way back into this race.
He has just pitted though, mind you.
Right, of course, yeah, we saw him with Dadson. So Dadson way out the front right now. There we go. He's into the pits with 7 laps to go. Off the softs, and he'll go on to another set. Evil Evos come in, and here comes our quartet of Supras. Now, Old Wakey's gap to Lenosis has stagnated at about 1.5 seconds here. Hasn't really changed over the last lap or so. Lenosis needs to find a way to bring that gap down without sacrificing his fuel or his tyres.
Well, as it is, Old Wakey and Lenosis are absolutely identical on fuel. One thing that's interesting though, they're on the same tyres that are the same age, but Old Wakey has a little bit more front tyre wear than Lenosis.
Old Wakey's got a bit of a reputation for being a very smooth operator when it comes to tyre management, looking after them. But look at that. Lenosis is nearly 3 tenths purple on his fastest lap through the first sector there. Throwing the time at Old Wakey, but he's had a terrible run through the De La Rogia chicane and dropped off outside that 1 second mark.
Yeah, that exit wasn't exactly what I would call smooth, but he's managed to hold on to it and keep it pointed in the right direction, so that's the main thing.
on board now with Lenosis as we head down to Ascari. 0.1 the gap. Looking to close it up to within a second out of here.
He does have a hard charging Black Friday behind him he's got to be mindful of, who's down to 6/10, so he's well within slipstream range.
Black Friday's not out of this fight yet, is he? So, had that incident at the Parabolica, but not enough to completely shake his confidence. Still in this fight, still pushing.
Now, Stickers is actually a bit surprising. He's 4.8 seconds behind Black Friday at the moment in P4. I'm just looking at his lap times, and there's nothing to indicate as Black Friday picks up the fastest lap with a 47.7. That's what a slipstream can do for you. It will allow you to get that extra point.
Well, he's put himself in a good spot in Lenosis right now. He's not really able to put together an entirely clean lap here. We saw before purple through this first sector by nearly 3/10. Let's jump on board with Lenosis now, see what sort of split he gets here. Go up by 0.028, but can he nail De La Rogia chicane this time? Onto the gravel once again, pushing the limits of the track.
He loves flirting with that gravel. He must have a thing for rocks.
Well, last I checked, the only thing Lenosis has a thing for was garlic bread and chocolate, but we'll not talk about that. And he seems to be flirting with the AstroTurf on the outside there as well. But right now, what's most important is that gap to Old Wakey, now sitting at 8:10. Slipstream in full effect. They'll come out of the Ascari chicane here, and Lenosis is going to get a nice little pull along the straight.
Black Friday was looking good just through that second sector split before Ascari. He was nearly 2/10 purple on his current fastest lap, but unfortunately I think the dirty air behind Lenosis caused him to have a less than ideal transition through Ascari, and he's just dropped back to the 6/10, 7/10 mark.
They're all kind of stagnating now. They're hovering about the same gap between themselves. It'll get very interesting once Lenosis gets right up to the back of Old Wakey. That slipstream is doing wonders for him up there. P2, very late on the brakes for Black Friday, gets so close in the braking zone to Lenosis. So clearly front tyre life, not in the forefront of Black Friday's mind, but Lenosis once again dropped outside of slipstream to Old Wakey. So really struggling now. Old Wakey is just running a faultless drive with an impenetrable defence and a mistake-free performance. There's Black Friday once again, 3/10 purple on the fastest lap.
That's huge. But
That'd definitely lock it down.
He may not be able to take advantage of that, because I'm pretty sure Lenosis has been taking some defense tips from our team owner, old mate Whitehips. And I don't think Black Friday is going to get past him too easily.
No, I don't think so either, but I think Lenosis knows enough to realise that he's just got to push on here and try and catch Old Wakey. Through Ascari we go. Lenosis still not close enough. Only going to be 4 laps to go after we complete this one, so time is rapidly running out. Race is starting to get away from Lenosis. Sitting just outside the top 3 by 6 seconds or so. We're running his own race at this point. DP Mario has got himself back up to P5 on that one-stop strategy. Got 3 seconds back to Race Fan, which appears to be enough. 4 laps to go.
I will keep an eye on that delta. It's at 3.5 seconds at the moment, so I'll check back in another lap or so and see how he's travelling.
Looking too bad. Gadsden in P7 is no longer being bothered by Tim Durags, who he was fighting for a very large period of this race. Evil Evo in P8, Mad Alpha, still chugging along. Rags in the Porsche down in P9 now. Trying to have a strong finish to this race.
Black Friday's had a less than ideal run through. I'm just going to go with the second chicane. I give up trying to pronounce it. But has, Stella Rogia, and has just dropped back a little bit, although he's had a good run coming up to Ascari. He's currently purple.
By how much though?
Nearly 2/10.
Well, the Gnosis, 4.5 tenths purple on the way into Ascari. He is on a blinder of a lap. He is absolutely smashing it, wringing the neck of that Supra, and it looks like he's finally going to put together the lap that he needs to steal back the fastest lap. Finally give Old Wakey something to think about. Here we go, across the line. It's a 47.0.
Oh, jeez.
That's half a second on the fastest lap, and Old Wakey is quaking in his boots. We're going to have to call him Old Wakey. But
Yep. He will definitely have one eye on the radar at this point in time, thinking,
right into the back. That braking zone, Lenosis smashed it into the back of Old Wakey. He was about as close as you could get without contact. And now he's got to look for a way past. 2.5 laps to go.
Old Wakey very defensive, coming into the second chicane.
Lenosis purple again. Clearly not the best first sector last time around.
Yeah, he's playing it smart through here. The Lesmos are not the ideal place for an overtake. It's more than likely going to end badly if you try it.
Well, I think Old Wakey's clever enough to know that he doesn't have to put pressure on himself through corners like the Lesmos, because it's so difficult to overtake there. The chances of Lenosis trying something are slim to none. And he's purple again. Look at this.
Yeah.
But Old Wakey's pulled it out of the hat this lap. This lap's winter.
If you're the driver in front there, you are definitely putting a lot of trust in the driver behind you to not do something silly and send it.
Old Wakey does not go defensive into the Parabolica, curve Parabolica. Starting to think that maybe Old Wakey wants to get a move done on the way down to turn 1 here. Look at that exit from Old Wakey. It's right on
I
the
think
back
he
of
wants the
Lenosis.
slipstream.
Gonna pull to the
Lenosis
outside.
right in the middle of the track.
Gonna try it. Have a look here. Supra's wheel to wheel, side by side, Kraken Esports versus Obsession Motorsport, and Lenosis comes out on top. Old Wakey is going to have to respond very quickly here, because Lenosis is not going to mess around. He's going to look to disappear as quickly as possible.
Just checking back in on that gap between Racefan and DP Mario, it's only come down 1 second in the last 2 laps. Still at 2.5 seconds, so DP Mario might just be fairly safe for a P5 finish here on the one stop.
Done well to get to where he is right now. Racefan can't do much about it. On board now with Black Friday, having a look at the battle for the lead up the top. Old Wakey is not ours yet. Yes, he is! Old Wakey picks up the Astro on the outside of the second Lesmo and pitches it into the barrier on the right side and eliminates himself from the race. He's finally got going again. He's lost out the stickers just about. He's not going to lose out to Mario, but oh, what an error, and what a point in the race to make it. He'll be fuming inside that cockpit. The visor will be steaming up right now.
Yeah. And he's just had the damage disappear. He had damage to the front aero and both front wheels. That would have been
happened on the exit. Through the first Lesmo here, what we're looking at, and you see that tyre wear on the left-hand side, he's pushing the limit there too. But this is the difference that Dirty Air makes. And now that he's following someone on the throttle, on the Astro, into the fence, and that's all she wrote. Huge damage to the front of the car. Not much that he could do about that.
Tell you what, for you for all of you at home watching in the YouTube, start thinking about your Driver of the Day nominations. Throw them up in the chat.
Oh, you've hurt everyone's feelings now because everyone wanted to vote Old Wakey, but they can't now because he's put himself in the fence. Black Friday.
You're not going to lie. I'm one of those people.
Black Friday's not out of this fight. He's 8/10 behind Lenosis here, so he could still throw a spanner in the works for our champion-elect. But it's starting to look like Lenosis, who locked up the championship here. Oh, Black Friday trying to do his best Old Wakey impression there. Lenosis, who came into this round looking to wrap up the title, all he had to do was turn up, finish the race, and then Lunacy pulled out of the race, his closest competitor, and Lenosis didn't even have to do this race. But regardless of that, he turned up and he put on a show for the ages, a performance of the season. After such trauma and devastation in the early stages of the race, he was able to come back and fight for P1 against Old Wakey, Black Friday, and Stickers. All three of them threw everything they had. They could do nothing against your Division 2 champion, Lenosis of Obsession Motorsport, who finishes with a win here in Season 7 in the final round, ahead of Black Friday of Red Mist Racing, Stickers, the team owner for Lightning Motorsport, Old Wakey, after a disastrous incident in the late stages of the race. DP Mario for Black Rose Racing will cross the line in P5 on a emphatic one-stop strategy. Race Fan in P6 after an early incident put him on the back foot. That's in P7 in that Mercedes. Another great performance from the Dadson team. Evil Evo 9 in P8 ahead of Tim Durags, ISA Esports in P9.
Wow, that's certainly not how I expected that race to go.
That was good. I enjoyed that. What a way to finish it up for Lenosis, and what a way to round out the season. Ladies and gentlemen, we have done it. The season 7 of Sector 1 Sim Racing is over. It's been a wild ride from start to finish. It's been a long 12 rounds, a long slog. Drivers have come, drivers have gone, but we've crowned 4 division champions in the end, and it's been a pleasure to be a part of it. Let's have a look now at our Division 2 results for the final round of Season 7. Lenosis, with a fantastic performance, takes P1 with the fastest lap of the race, a 47 flat, 4/10 clear of the next best time set by Black Friday. Stickers in P3 takes a podium in his final run of the season. Old Wakey, unfortunately, after that late incident, finds himself down in P4. Not a terrible result, but definitely disappointing considering where he was running in Black Friday. What a race it was from him. 0.6 off the win in the end. Just a great drive through and through. Lots of mistakes, but the pace was there. Definitely deserving of a podium in the end. Race Fan P6, Datsun P7, Evil Evo P8, and on our last page, Tim Durags P9. What a race. What an amazing race it was, and it was great to see for these guys. What are your thoughts?
Well, my first thought is I'm sad the season's over, but at the same time, I'm a little bit relieved. It's been it has been an absolutely marathon effort from everybody, the drivers, the TOs, admin, streamers, my fellow race directors. They've all done a fantastic job through the, what has it been, not including the break, that is 24 weeks of racing this year. We've had a few drivers who started with us, unfortunately had to drop out. We've had new people come on in, and for the most part, they've all slotted in into the league really, really well. It's been fantastic to see. But I am looking forward to having next Sunday night off, just quietly. Just nice to have a break. And I'm sure my partner is quite happy about that as well. Um, she's been very supportive throughout this hobby of mine, so got to thank her for it as well. And then the week after that, we have the S1 Awards night, which I will be back for.
I'm excited for the S1 Awards night, and I have to say, I think on behalf of every driver in S1 to you, Carbonboy, a big thank you for putting on the lobbies. 3 out of 4. Oh, sorry, no, 2 out of 4 every round, every weekend. You've been a race director for season 7. It's such a huge commitment for you to make. So, on behalf of the entire admin team, I'd like to say thank you for what you've done for us this season.
You are most welcome. It's a pleasure to put on the racing for all the drivers, and I certainly wouldn't do it if I didn't enjoy it. So I have the drivers. I have the drivers to thank for that as well. Also worth mentioning, we will be back this Thursday night for the Sector 1 final round of the Sector 1 Community Series. Unfortunately, we had to postpone that by a week, as we unfortunately were a bit short of a streamer for that week. We still got a lobby together of 13 drivers and had ourselves a good night of racing, albeit not on YouTube. So don't forget to tune in this Thursday night for the actual Community Series round here at Monza. After being in the race on Thursday, I think it will be an absolute cracker of a battle.
Yeah, well, if you'll direct your attention to the screen, we are witnessing, of course, our Division 2 champion performing traditional celebratory celebrations on the racetrack
Yes,
in light of
we
his championship victory.
we normally don't condone this sort of behaviour, but when you've just won a division title, go for it. Go nuts.
Well, what a ride it has been. Many thanks to all of our viewers at home who have partaken in the series, watched the series, liked the series. If you're new here, we are Sector 1 Sim Racing, and we have a Discord community you can join in the link below the broadcast. Our streams are every week, except for next week, because our season has just finished and we will all be taking a much needed break. But I must say, a huge congratulations to every driver that partook in this season. It's been a long slog, but you've all done yourselves very proud, and you should be proud of your achievements this season, and we're looking forward to having you all back for Season 8 of Sector 1. Stay
Also,
tuned for the Sector
I have
1 awards.
one important question. I have one important question for you, Adam.
Go on.
Who was your driver of the day today?
My driver of the day for Division 2, I hate to give the driver of the day to a race winner, but Lenosis put on such a good performance after, facing trials and tribulation in the early stages of the race. So that would have to be my pick.
Yep, I'm going to put aside my usual standards, and I'm going to be biased as hell, and I'm going to say my teammate Lenosis for driver of the day, with the disclaimer that Old Wakey would have taken my driver of the day if he hadn't have had, unfortunately, if he unfortunately didn't have that incident. He was on for my driver of the day, and it seems like everybody in the YouTube chat seems to agree with us for driver of the day for Lenosis, but there are some honourable mentions for stickers and Black Friday.
Yeah, stickers and Black Friday. Yeah, it was a couple of really good performances in that race. So yeah, very well done for these guys, and it was so beautiful to see the track at sunset as well towards the end of the race. I don't know if you were paying attention to the broadcast screen, but we picked up some donuts from Lenosis, and as the smoke picked up, it reflected the light of the sun, and it looked like there were fireworks in the smoke. It was absolutely fantastic.
I did miss that, but yeah, that's one thing about GD7. They have made it look very, very pretty.
Right, so next steps for Sector 1 Sim Racing. That is the end of Season 7. So moving on, we will be looking at the Sector 1 Awards, which are not this coming weekend, but the weekend after. And at that event, there will be awards presented for Season 7 and announcements made about Season 8. So if you want information, that's where you're going to find it. So make sure you tune into that. Please, if you haven't left a like on this broadcast, if you have enjoyed it, please do leave one, as it will help us out with the algorithm and get us promoted to more sim racing fans who are looking for content like this. Subscribe to the channel if you are new, and join our Discord. Link in the bio, link in the description down below, and we'll look forward to taking you racing with us. But that is a wrap for Season 7 here at Sector 1, and we look forward to seeing you all for the Sector 1 Awards and Season 8.